I sit back and I watch this whole world, and I don't believe what I see on the news. What kind of damn world is this we living in? It's crazy. It don't make no damn sense. Don't believe what nobody tells you. Believe only what you see. Don't follow what everybody else is saying. Don't let nobody point you in the wrong direction. Follow your heart. Believe what you see. Cause they just leading you in the wrong direction. Follow your heart. Now is it me? Or is this country really not free? So many laws, so many flaws. Please explain this to me. Ain't nobody get my vote. Just these words that I wrote being spoke from my throat till the day that I cough up and choke. Now in due time you gonna find everyone that they speaking their line. Just follow your mind every time, and ain't no way they can stop your shine. Only believe what you see and what you feel. To me that's real. Only time will reveal. Protect your mind with a hocus pocus. Just stay focused and watch your back for all these locusts who approach us looking hopeless for all the time. They some vultures trying to pick at your flesh and lay you to rest. Accept the test if you're really the best. Be prepared for the stress, but nevertheless just say who's next. All I ever wanted in life was a house, of dogs, some kids, a wife. But all I ever got was hate, stress, disrespect, and strife. The only thing that keeps me happy is my music and my lady. Why the rest of the world trying to trap me to realize that they can't save me? Seeing is believing, but looks can be deceiving. But I'm not believing what I'm seeing. What kind of world is this to be? They say seeing is believing, but looks can be deceiving. But I'm not believing what I'm seeing. What kind of world is this to be? I'ma die for what I believe in, breathing everything I do for a reason. Grieving, needed, but still proceed. Society got my soul bleeding. I take a step to catch my breath. I'm out of breath, ain't nothing left on my mind but trust and death. I better get my respect. I won't be denied. Take a look into these special eyes, cause I speak the truth. I don't specialize in telling lies. I don't keep my enemies close. I keep a close eye on my enemies, and I hold them like a ghost, so they'll always remember me. Who's friend, who's foe, no one knows. So I don't know which way to go, but in the end it's all gonna show. So watch them all from head to toe, from right to left, from left to right, from day to night, from dark to light. You think I won't, but then I might. If you don't get out my sight, you gon' have to pay the price. That's gonna be a waste of life, cause if you got a price to pay, then you gon' have to die today. I speak these words from my mind, and when I get done I'm feeling fine. If you want to press rewind and pay attention to my rhyme. Seeing is believing, but looks can be deceiving. But I'm not believing what I'm seeing. What kind of world is this to be? They say seeing is believing, but looks can be deceiving. But I'm not believing what I'm seeing. What kind of world is this to be? Can I get a moment of silence? Decrease this violence. Tired of hearing police sirens. Man, these damn jobs ain't hiring, but they doing a lot of firing. People out of work for many months, and the slackers kids need lunch. More than once I bought a bunch, cause we all got our needs at once. But do they care? Hell no they don't. They swear they will, but I know they won't. In their mind they know they wrong, especially when they hear the song. I'm being a voice for this world, especially the little boys and girls who don't express themselves with words, cause they was told they won't be heard. Believe only what you see, and don't try to be just like me. Just be yourself and nobody else. In the time you'll see you are like me. I'm a loner and a rebel, so people think I'm nothing but trouble. Digging my grave without a shovel, I feel like I'm trapped inside of a bubble. A world full of destruction and corruption. Not enough loving, too much struggling, not enough hugging, too much cussing, no time for discussion, man. Life ain't always what it seems. Our dreams are always having things. Time is ticking, my mind is clicking. Live your life, make your own decision. Seeing is believing, but looks can be deceiving. But I'm not believing what I'm seeing. What kind of world is this to be? They say seeing is believing, but looks can be deceiving. But I'm not believing what I'm seeing. What kind of world is this to be? Man, I'm fed up, I done had enough. I'm tired of this, man. How the hell people gonna live in a damn world like this? You tell me. I don't understand. And y'all acting like y'all don't see the damn problem. Right in front of your damn face, and you can't ignore it. You can't ignore it. It's gonna always be there. Cause y'all ain't doing nothing to stop it. But I'm gonna do something about it. Whether it is do my music or whatever. So I ain't gonna sit here like a damn fool and watch all this stuff happen. Sit back and watch it.
Do you really believe that garbage?
It's not about a believing, it's a matter of fact.
So you believe
People over here who run this nation support injustices over there. You probably don't even know what happened in the 1940s.
In any country, prison is where society sends its failures. But in this country, society itself is failing.
I'd like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you.
We won the evangelicals. We won with young. We won with old. We won with highly educated. We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated.
You crazy.
Grab him by the pussy.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Let's go to war. Let's go to war.
We are not at war with Muslims.
Let's go to war.
We don't have a beef with Muslims.
Let's go to war.
We want to be friends with
Let's go
Muslims
to war.
and Muslim children.
Let's go to war.
We fighting evil people. It's important for the boys and girls of Thurgood Marshall to know
Let's go to war.
that we're fighting evil.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on.
Olivia Gondak, it says that I wanted to eat her pussy. Olivia Gondak, I've never said that in my life to her. I would never do that. I'm happily married. I've got more than enough to eat at home. Thank you very much.
You have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
Okay. I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay? It's like incredible. I went to an Ivy League school. I'm very highly educated. I know words. I have the best words. We now have a gun on every table. We're ready to start shooting.
By the way, maybe you could inject some bleach in your arm, and that would take care of it. This is the same man.
Sarcastically.
That was...
Even though they're trying to impeach the son of a bitch. Can you believe that? You believe that? That's enough. Put down the mic.
Mr. President, are you worried about indictments coming down in this
I'd like to
investigation?
punch him in the face, I'll tell you.
It's a human under attack.
I don't want reality. I'm asking the question, which one is better? That's exactly what it is.
Got it on tape.
What a stupid son of a bitch.
Step into the tense arena of politics with TFP, where raw honesty meets critical analysis. The world's most dangerous political panel, featuring the voices of the radical Republican, MD-20, the political prophet amongst men, Ricardo, the uppity independent king of popcorn, who's waiting and watching in the political theater, Mike, the Fatalists, who is always Mike is right from the Others Gang, and Venkat, the Progressive Producer Extraordinaire, dives deep into controversial topics that shape our global stage.
With sharp insights and unfiltered discussions,
they explore the complex narratives of past and present political dilemmas that affect
They're
us
eating
all.
the dogs.
Each episode acts as a magnifying glass, scrutinizing the layers of misinformation and propaganda that permeate our world. The panel's dynamic interplay ignites debates that challenge viewers to confront uncomfortable truths about governance, power, and societal responsibility.
Engage with thought-provoking content that not only informs, but inspires action.
TFP is not just a series. It is a call to awareness, urging audiences to participate in the political discourse and foster change in their communities.
Now get ready to witness the strength of tape-fist politics.
How stupid are these politicians to allow this to happen?
Everything you saw on the news is sucker shit. It's sucker shit. Nation, make sure that people like us are always struggling and in fucked up situations. We're gonna beat these people. I'm not trying to be dramatic here, but it's been a hard fight. These people hate our children.
disturbing scene in an Ohio suburb. A hate group dressed in all black and some waving Nazi flags gathering on an overpass in the Cincinnati area. They were confronted by residents of a historically black community.
Tonight, the clash above a highway near Cincinnati, Ohio. Neighbors confronting neo-Nazis dressed in black, waving swastika flags on an overpass north of the city.
In this neighborhood, we do stand for something. This here turf is golden soil, and it won't be tarnished with things like that.
At least one neo-Nazi seen holding a long gun. Police shutting down the overpass, trying to keep everyone apart. The neo-Nazis taking off in a U-Haul. One person seen running down the road, throwing something against the side of the truck. A swastika flag ripped away and set on fire.
Need you, Lord, now to come in the midst of.
A minister from a nearby Baptist church holding a prayer service, calming tensions.
People are afraid, they're scared, they're angry.
These neo-Nazis were wearing similar clothes and face coverings to the neo-Nazis who marched through downtown Columbus, Ohio in November. Black community leaders later making the same march as a counter-protest. Tonight, the mayor of Cincinnati says messages of hate have no place in the region, writing, "This is not what we stand for, and it will never be what we stand for." And there was concern on the ground that police were letting this protest happen. Police say while the protest was offensive, it was not illegal.
Look at all the we got problems, people. And they call us cowards, but we're out here.
Yeah, burn that bitch up. Burn that bitch up, man. Burn that bitch burn. Let that bitch burn.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about.
I'm out.
Still liquidations off 15 shit.
Yeah,
perfect, man.
Get them boys the fuck out of here! Get the fuck out of here! Fuck y'all flag! Hitler been dead. Y'all living in the 40s.
That is precisely how you respond to neo-Nazis when they show up in your town.
I know.
What's up? It's a war, bitch!
Sir, if you don't mind. I know.
Y'all need to get them the out of here.
But
this is bullshit.
I know.
It's causing a ruckus. Y'all about to get down with us. Do that in our own neighborhood.
Sir, get back.
Stop playing.
Sir, get back, okay? Thank you.
Don't get mask on because y'all bitches.
Sir, get back.
You got a mask on because you a bitch.
Sir, get back. Get back.
My own house. I pay property taxes, bitch.
Sir.
I own my
Sir, get back.
I own my
Sir.
Don't do it. I own my
You understand why we're out here?
My guys aren't going to
Forever 21. That incident's been resolved. Nobody's like on phone.
Get down here. We can get out of here.
Okay.
And we might need an escort. We got a vehicle right over there, a Jeep with a dog in it. One of our guys need to be escorted right over there.
Okay. You guys start by taking the day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We'll get that all
Yes,
taken care
sir.
of, okay?
Yes, sir. How y'all gonna let them come in our community and do this, man?
They are allowed to protest.
And we are too.
Right.
We are too.
Don't give it to them. This is what they want. No,
Stop. That's scary, mother.
It's not worth it.
Stop.
No.
Hey, come on. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. I got the wrong neighborhood.
Guys,
It's not worth it. They ain't gonna come to y'all neighborhood and do that shit.
It's not worth it, guys. Hey, it's not worth it.
They gotta go.
Hey, get them out of here.
Get them out of here. They better go. That's good. Get your shit. Get out of here.
Back, guys, back. Bro, it ain't worth it, man.
It is.
It's not worth it.
You know it is.
It ain't worth it for these ignorant ass people. Hey. Guys,
y'all gotta get out of here.
It's not worth it. They're leaving.
Get that up out of here. Get your bitch ass out of here.
without a shadow of a doubt, and that's crazy that you allowed them to do that.
I like how you're putting words in my mouth.
That's how you feel, because you allowed. You stood on it because you allowed to. You're here to protect and serve. You did not serve because guess what? You got allowed them to drive off in a U-Haul, man. You allowed them to drive off in a U-Haul. Human beings not allowed to drive around in the back of a U-Haul. It's illegal.
We were dispersing them because you guys were coming up.
You let them drive off in a U-Haul. That's wrong.
Yes, and then we got them in vehicles and they're heading back home.
So you protected them then. So you cool? You feel how they feel? You feel how they feel about us, man?
What do you think? What do you think I do? I protect and serve. Guess what?
Not
the BLM,
not black
right?
people.
Listen,
not black people.
Listen.
You don't protect and serve us, man. Because guess what? If you did, you wouldn't have allowed to do all this.
I know you're upset. I'm upset too. Do you think I want to be out here? Do you think I want to be doing this? Do you think I agree with their ideology? I don't. But listen, okay? When the BLM protests, guess what? When they were saying kill officers, kill pigs, guess what I did? I sat there and protected their rights of free speech. I have to do the same for them.
And about 12 neo-Nazis in total chose to unfurl their banners on top of an overpass near the Lincoln Heights exit until, of course, they were confronted by American heroes and ran away like the cowards that they are. Now, before they were chased off, they were actually talking a lot of shit. For example, they even recorded themselves running up to this man's car who was blasting Fight the Power by Public Enemy, and they began hurling slurs at him, but as you can tell, he was entirely unbothered and just kept dancing.
Viewed millions of times, this video posted by members of a neo-Nazi group shows their encounter with Eric Ruffin Friday on the border of Evendale and Lincoln Heights.
They are chipping hard.
Ruffin says he was stopped at a light when the group approached him, masked, armed, and hurling racial slurs. You can see Ruffin brandish his firearm to show he was also armed. After pulling away, this body cam video shows an Evendale officer approach Ruffin.
You just turn it down so I can talk.
And the neo-Nazis ask police this.
You guys like
We showed Ruffin that body cam for the first time. He questions why police did not intervene.
So standing in the middle of the street, calling somebody the N-word is called ethnic intimidation.
Because members of the community made it clear that they weren't going to let any Nazis intimidate a single person in their community, so they then chose to exercise their Second Amendment rights, and they formed an impromptu community defense group in Lincoln Heights, and they stayed there for hours and hours and set up effective checkpoints to track down the Nazis in the event they were still in their community.
Checkpoint, they is not playing. Straps, and they are ready. Checkpoint, and you will be stopped and roll your fucking window down.
Got one coming up.
All right, bye-bye. See ya.
You love to see it. Now, one of the people that documented this shared some photos of armed resistance members from the community on Twitter saying people in Lincoln Heights went Nazi hunting with the goal being to make Nazis and white supremacists afraid again, as Deepest South put it, who was the individual who uploaded the videos of the community defense group. They're standing together and they absolutely refuse to let these dickwads threaten anyone in their community.
Residents of nearby Lincoln Heights soon arrived to protest the Nazi demonstration.
This is something that we all need to take a stand for. We need them to know this is not the 1960s. This is 2025. We are not playing that this time around.
We're told the people on the bridge came and went in a U-Haul, leaving shortly after locals arrived. Evendale police released a statement that the demonstration, while offensive, was legal. Protesters took issue with that response.
You're allowed to have a protest, but where's your permit? Where's your permission? And then inciting hate, calling people niggas.
This love, like this united.
To try to see if anyone was arrested. There's still an active scene happening over there.
Very fine people on both sides. You had people.
Thank you.
Hate. That's what hate is. That's what hate gets you.
Protesters say they were shocked and disgusted by what they saw.
Tonight on TFP, the stage is set for another exhilarating exploration of politics with this episode. Join Ricardo, Venkat, MD20, and Mike as they delve into the dynamics that shape our world, offering their unique perspectives on current affairs, with debate and discourse at the forefront. Expect a lively exchange filled with insightful analysis and bold predictions. The atmosphere is charged with anticipation, as each voice brings forth a blend of experiences in varying positions, creating a tapestry of ideas that resonate with the audience. Join us for a night where knowledge meets passion, and discover why Mike is right Tune in for an unforgettable experience with the political prophet amongst men. This is TFP, Taped Fists Politics. Let's go.
All right. Here we go for another TFP Tuesday. Take Fist Politics. This is Venkat, and I am joined once again with the world's most dangerous political panel. And on the panel tonight, we got Ricardo. What's going on, Ricardo?
What do you do, Venkat? I'm in the house, and I love what I love.
All right. And also on the panel, we got the political prophet amongst men, MD20. What's going on, MD?
Peace, what's going on? What's happening?
Yeah. All right. So with this being Black History Month, it's only fitting that we look at something that happened earlier in the month. And we'll start with Ricardo. Ricardo, what were your thoughts on what went down in Cincinnati?
All right. So first of all, when it comes to that event that happened in Ohio, was very shocking because we've come so far to then have this transpiring in regards to the whole, brigade of I guess what would we call them? The triple Ks, set of people that it's not the first time we've seen this. And mind you, this is maybe it might be coincidental. Did we not see this the last time around when Trump was coming into power? I just find that very odd. Remember that long march with the tiki sticks in the night, and it was a whole brigade of people that created this whole issue. If you remember well, maybe memory might have lapsed because we are very fickle-minded sometimes in this country. But I just find it coincidental that there is a long march of Triple K people, but then they decided to go into Ohio. Listen, I'm just glad and I'm very proud of the people who are in that community that said, "Oh hell no, we're not having this today," and they literally took up their initiative, dropped whatever they were doing, and was like, "You need to get the F out." And they literally took up arms. They took up all that they had and said, "You're not gonna come here with this nonsense," and they got rid of them as quickly as they started, forming on that bridge. So I got to give them the kudos. Again, the song "We're Not Gonna Take It Anymore" seems to come in mind there because I think a lot of people, since they've become emboldened since Donald Trump came to power, thinking that they could say anything and do anything that's not gonna fly. And I've said this the last time when TFP, when actually in the inception of TFP starting, that there's a lot of things that a lot of people are doing and they think they could get away with it. Really and truly, you can't, because it's not like the '90s when people would sit back and just watch you do shit. It's not like that anymore. You come with it, you bring it, or just how does the saying go, MD? You knock if you buck. You come with that nonsense. You best believe when there's retaliatory measures taken, you don't get to sit back and cry and go, "Woe is me." No, we're not going to do that anymore. So kudos to them, and I salute them. And if they come with this nonsense again in any community where their Black people are, because they will feel emboldened to come again. I think Ohio is a template. If they go anywhere else, know your rights. Know you could just stand your ground and know that you could block these morons from coming about doing their foolishness. They have the right to demonstrate. It's part of their constitutional right. But then again, do understand that you could push back with a lot of your force because an emboldened community can also make a sense. And that's all I'm going to say on that topic.
All right, thanks, Ricardo. So, MD, what were your thoughts on what happened in Cincinnati with the Nazis meeting a traditional Black community, a historical Black community that was saying, "Nah, not here"?
Yeah, so Avondale, I know it well. In my trucking journey, I've been there several times. I know the exact overpass where they was at on 75 North going up to Avondale, Lincoln Heights. It's got a big ass sign say Avondale on the bridge. Avondale is a shithole. Let me get that out of the way. It's not a very good place. It wouldn't be nothing that I would be proud about in terms of the overall look of the community. Let me be very blunt with you, Venkat and Ricardo. First of all, what Ricardo said on the onset was 100% correct. In the age of Trump, since the first term, a lot of these quote unquote white supremacist groups, they get very emboldened, and you start seeing a upscale of stuff like this. What Ricardo was vastly incorrect on is them knowing their rights. They didn't do nothing to impose any type of civil rights in regards to knowing what to do in that type of situation. They bum rushed them folk. To be honest with you, from a legality standpoint, they could have been arrested, because what they did was they impeded traffic to the point where the cops had to stop the traffic on the bridge. There was a sidewalk on that bridge. When I first saw this, initially I said, hold on, wait a minute, do they got a permit to be doing all this? Then I saw, okay, they on the sidewalk of the bridge. That's the public square. They can do whatever the hell they want. Them black folks came up and impeded traffic. And if the cops wasn't there, it would have been some violence that would have occurred. I think we all agreed on that. Whether it's justified or not, that ain't my stance. I'm the legal eagle. I go by law.
I don't know. I don't know, MD. I don't know about that one, MD.
You don't know about what specific?
So you're saying they impeded traffic, and the Nazi,
did, yes.
Yeah, and the Nazi people were good being there, and no big deal.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Why? Because they were on the sidewalk. The sidewalk is the public square. You don't need. Go ahead. I mean, I can debunk anything you're saying. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, MD.
I'm just being honest. Can you not go on the sidewalk right now and get on the soapbox and start talking shit? You can do that right now, as we speak. Cops can't do nothing to you as long as you ain't violating nobody else's civil rights. Can't do nothing about it. That's just a fact. See, and that's the more underlying issue of all this, and it's an ongoing theme on a lot of these stories that we have dealing with black folks, Venkat. Black people usually have a dark misunderstanding on what rights are. That's just a fact. And they also, based on whatever reason, whether it be a sense of racism, where they think they're being slighted, try to justify it under the same means, which is totally false. Totally false. Free speech is a thing in this country. The cops can't come and stop something based on the fact that they don't like what they're saying. That's a direct violation of free speech. You can't do that. So from a nigger perspective, because that's what I'm gonna call it, from a nigger perspective, okay, what am I going to do to counterbalance, counteract this particular thing that I don't like? No matter how much rage I have, it don't matter. Again, ongoing theme, Venkat. Every time we have a story of black people getting shot, whatever the situation may be, it's always a situation. What I always say, black people do not know what their rights are. On the other side of the token, they don't understand the violation of other particular rights as it pertains to law and order, U.S. code. Well, it don't matter. I'm sick and tired of seeing these same examples over and over and over and over again, where black people get in a situation where they misinterpret what they're supposed to do from a legal standpoint, and then try to justify it to the police. That's exactly what these people did. Oh, how many clips did we just see in that segment? They talking about how you allowing them to do this. What do you mean, how are you allowing them to do this? Why are you even asking that question? Now, if you want to get gangster, you would have got gangster, and you would have been arrested. But nobody did that. I'm not saying that it couldn't have been done. It possibly could have been done if the cops wasn't there. Now, the one dude was exactly right. The police shouldn't have never let them leave in the back of that U-Haul, because that's direct violation of law. You can't do that. I can't get my black ass in the back of no U-Haul van and just tell them to drive off, and that's okay.
They didn't just leave in the U-Haul. They came in the U-Haul.
again, I'm not, I'm not defending that. If I was a cop in that situation, I would have said, hey, look, we don't want this to escalate. Would y'all kindly leave? The police don't even have a right to tell them to leave. That's just a
And,
fact. If
and what about?
they deem it being a direct result of the possibility of something happening, then okay, I get it. But they should have said, hey, look, y'all gangster enough to come out here. Y'all should be gangster enough to walk through these black people and go on about your merry way, and then get in your appropriate vehicles and go. The police is there. You might get socked. Yeah, we're gonna arrest that guy, but I might smile while I put the cuffs on it.
So when they were up there with guns, yelling and
Long
cursing.
guns, which is totally legal.
Hey! You got guns out there, and you're berating people, yelling, calling them names, saying every word known to man. That is a peaceful thing that they're doing. I mean, it's gonna
In
incite
accordance to
people
law,
to
yes, it
people.
is. In
People to
accordance to
people.
law,
So
yes, it is. Was there any threats being made, Venkat?
there were threats being made. We saw one with the guy. They went up on the guy's window, and he
I'm
showed his gun.
driving. What exactly did they say?
Yeah.
I'm driving, bro. I mean, I'm trying again. This is a ongoing theme with a lot of these clips, man. I'm telling you, we try to beat our chest to a particular notion of, okay, we're not going to allow this to happen, which is fine. I'm not saying it's not, but bro, what are you going to do to counterbalance it from a legal standpoint? Black folks don't know how to do that, and I'm tired of seeing it. To be honest with you, I mean, I just got to be frank. Venkat. That's
Yep.
just what it is. As a matter of fact, here's another thing. When they went up to the car, you mentioned that long guns can be legally open carried in Ohio. Guess what? You have to have a permit for a handgun. Even if in Ohio, and I looked it up, even if in Ohio it's on your person, which would be your card. If you show a handgun versus you show a long gun, guess what? That's brandishing a weapon, which is a crime. Which is a crime.
That's some crazy stuff right there. That's
Again,
crazy.
I'm not here to be opinionated as far as the efficacy of it. I'm the legal evil. I don't care about efficacy. I care about what's law. And technically saying when he showed that handgun, that was brandishing a weapon, which is a felony. Just a fact.
So you're the legal eagle. You're about the law. So that means even the laws that are suspect, that are tilted to benefit people, one group of people versus another group of people, you're okay with that.
I don't make that distinguishment.
All these laws are not based on the same type of standard. You know, there's some laws that are purposely put there to affect certain groups of people. But
I disagree with that. I disagree with it.
So all the laws in the book in this country all have merit to them, and there's no nefarious means behind them.
See, and that's the misconception.
I'm asking.
I'm about to explain.
Okay.
When we talk about nefarious means, I agree with you wholeheartedly, 100%. But guess what? The nefarious means goes upon the application of what the letter of the law is. The letter of the law is not the offender. The person's interpretation is. And again, this is why we need to go deep in the text to understand what rights are. That's just a fact. That's just like somebody saying the system is corrupt. No, the system is not corrupt. The people that are installing the system is corrupt. Nothing wrong with the system. That's just a fact. All throughout history, certain governments, certain ideological preferences are being put forth by man. It's not the foundation of that government. It's not the foundation of that ideology, which is the villain. It's not. Once we learn that, I think we'll do a hell of a lot of a better job at incorporating certain laws and making them advantageous for us. That's just a fact. I don't want to preach or nothing, Venkat. Hey, you know.
Preach on, MD. Preach on. Yeah. Ricardo, anything you want to go back at MD with on what he just said?
So ND, in terms of them, because it's all right, to put it into this perspective, when these so-called triple Ks show up and did their thing, and they're like, oh, we're gonna scream and shout and do the most because that's how they get their attention. That's literally that's been their ammo for years. When these black folks go, oh hell nah, where do these motherfuckers think they're going? And then they show up with the long guns, which you said is permitted in the state of Ohio, and all of that. If God forbid something had pop off at that moment where somebody might have accidentally pushed somebody or something along that lines, what should have been the order that the black folks should have then took? Because then if the police is there, and I don't know why, again, law enforcement seems to be very out of this country, but then again, it's white supremacy. So it doesn't surprise me that they will be there and then they're like, oh, we're going to kind of aid in some way, which still doesn't make sense, but I digress. What would have been what should have been the protocol for what the black folks or the people that live there should have taken in terms of, de-escalating what is transpiring? Because remember, the triple Ks came into their territory or their neighborhood or their area. So if God forbid they had done something, what should have the black folks then have done to then de-escalate or try to push back in terms of being legal? Because I'm putting up my quote unquote fingers here, being legal here. What would have been the next step in order to de-escalate that? Because then there's no way around this. It would have been a firebomb or a powder keg situation ready to explode. And then the media would have. So.
Okay, so basically you're asking me, what have the black folks should have done to de-escalate the situation?
Right. If it went out of bounds.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. Because it ain't that's not their job. That's what you got the cops for.
But the cops ain't reliable, and the cops ain't really stand up people in the community.
I guess it's gonna be shoot out at the OK Corral then.
Oh Lord, MD.
Again, bro. As a citizen, it's not my duty to facilitate anything as it pertains to the law. I should know what the law is.
Mm-hmm.
For a fact. I should definitely know what the law is. But guess what? Just like you can stand on this sidewalk, I can stand on it too. You have no permit defining the parameters of this protest. I can stand right here alongside your ass and we can have a discussion. If it go down, it go down. That's just what it is. We gotta we like beating our chest to certain examples. For real, that's a fact.
No,
we like beating our chest. We like to beat our chest.
Absolutely.
To certain examples to show a falsehood of some type of defense of a culture of whatever the situation may be.
So what about that?
Is not their community. Huh?
What about that boat fight? From what you
shouldn't have done the boat fight.
That guy hit him first. He had every right to start swinging.
But that's where I was.
And then it turned into the Royal Rumble.
It did turn into a Royal Rumble.
So MD, that's what I was saying. So that whole, remember, with so let's go back to Alabama. Was it Alabama that boat scene happened? I can't remember.
That was Montgomery, I believe.
It was Montgomery, right? I know it was somewhere. I know my
Montgomery, Birmingham, one of them.
One of them.
So, it is Montgomery, yeah, Montgomery.
So when that guy, so that's what I'm alluding to here. So had one of those white supremacist people either kicked, pushed, did something, fired a gun there, and accidentally hit one of them.
Yeah, and the dude threw his head up in the air, and after that it was on.
That was a call sign, because it's like, all right, so you gonna hit me? All right, let me throw my head in the air, because guess what? It's on now. So had that happened in this situation in Ohio, the black folks should not have done anything. They should have just sat back.
No, I'm not saying that.
Oh, okay, that's what
I'm saying if that was a similar situation like in Montgomery, shootout at the OK Corral.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm telling you. And they would have been justified in doing so.
No, because it sounded like you were saying, no, black folks should do like what Malcolm X and Martin Luther King were saying back in the day. Oh, don't do anything. You guys just stand here and let them do let them beat you and all of that. So I was about to say, like, MD, really?
No. I'm not saying that at all.
No, that's what I was trying to get, because I was like, maybe I might have interpreted it wrong. But no, that's what I was trying to get at. Like, should they have done something? Had something pop off? Because remember, they showed up. It wasn't like the black folks were peacefully going about their lives, being in the hood, doing what they were doing, gallivanting, God knows what they were doing. And then these folks showed up and they were like, all right, well, what are these motherfuckers doing here? Because clearly they must have went the wrong place. Because lest we forget, Ohio is not, it's not one of those states where you could say, oh, it's immaculately great. No, Ohio has its little redneck section, sundown town. So that's not, if most of y'all don't know that, you now know Ohio is up there. It's one of those places. I've been to Ohio, so I know. But needless to say, it's not to say that there's not a lot of integration since, whatever time frame, because there's a lot of interracial stuff going on in Ohio, So that's a whole other topic for another day, which, MD will tell you. But it's not to say it's not without its racism is what I'm getting at. So I wanted to make sure, because MD does bring up a valid point. It seems to me black folks in this country get very, and I don't know if it's that we're triggered by certain things, and you can't blame the culture because, when it comes to hospitals, black folks don't trust doctors. When it comes to the police, black folks don't trust law enforcement. When it comes to, there's certain things where we're like, all right, well, it makes your heart skip a beat or it gets you triggered. What MD brings up a valid point is and I said this moment, a while back in the show, if a police officer drives behind you and you're slowing down, why are you panicking? Let the police officer drive. Like, if you know you're not speeding, you're not doing anything out of the ordinary, let that motherfucker pass you. If he has grounds to pull you over, he has to tell you why he's pulling you over. The same thing applies when it comes to, like I sent you guys a story in the chat the other day where this law enforcement officer, apparently there was some issue going on in some apartment building, and he burst into the man's apartment because he was like, and it's a black guy. He's like, okay, well, how do I assist you? Because he's like, and the police officer was like, oh, well, we heard that there's some domestic violence going on here. So it's like, are you sure this is the right apartment that you're referring to? Because there's nothing going on here. It's just me and my mom. This law enforcement officer busts himself into the man's domicile. Mind you, the guy asked him, do you have a warrant to do that? And he didn't. So then, an MD will tell you, once you do that, the rest is history because you clearly violated his rights. And that then and there in the court will take care of that for you. But there's certain instances, I would say all of that to say this, that we, black folks get very triggered when it comes to certain things, and it's innate in us. I don't know if it's just the culture, the history, all of that wrapped up in one. But MD brought up a valid point, which I'm glad he mentioned just now, whereas we need to stop this nonsense where we instantly just, we go off. Like, there's no need to you being King Kong and thumping your chest when there's nothing that popped off. If the minute they did something, then my God, yes, you have within your rights to retaliate. It's eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth at that point. But if they didn't do anything,
well, Ricardo, you might as well call me Thumper because we thumping up in this bitch. I'm telling you right now, I ain't bending no knee to no crack. I ain't bending no knee. All right, so real quick, there's somebody in the on the panel here, Anthony. If you could just put your
We said free Trevor 2025. Hashtag free Trevor 2025.
Oh, no. I'm talking about there's somebody in the back, Anthony M. If you can just turn your camera on for just a moment so we can verify that you are a actual human being that's breathing and not a bot or a troll or whatever. And then we can let you on the panel. So while we wait for that, we do have another guest on the panel. Oh, Anthony just left. So you just answered my question. All right. So who we got on the panel? The most censored man on all of the planet. Forget YouTube. Free Trevor 2025. What's going on, sir?
Oh boy, feels good. feels good to be out of jail for a little bit. Anthony did turn his camera on like when I came up. He is a real person. He comes to the wrestling shows a lot. So and the football shows. Oh, okay, he's back up. He did turn his camera on. I just okay. See, now it's on now. I just want to say this one thing. As MD is now officially IW honorary member of Man Talk Monday, because you my good friend, the PPAM of the entire YouTube, you my friend echo the exact sentiments I was thinking. I have been battling with my friends all since yesterday on this same type of stuff, and the fact that people don't know the laws is going to be the death of them. In the state of Florida, you can carry a rifle with no permit. You don't need a permit to purchase a rifle. You don't even need the permit. I literally right now could put my rifle in the back of my truck if I wanted to and just ride around with it. And cops,
it's an open carry state here in Florida.
Cops could not do anything, but if it's a handgun,
not when you're black, you do that if you want to.
That's not true. That's
not when you're black.
That's not true. That's not true.
See, and that's a prime example of what I'm talking about, Trevor. What Venkat just said.
Exactly.
We scare ourselves into thinking that we can't do stuff that constitutionally, as free people in this country, can do.
That's why
we gotta get out of that. We gotta get out of that.
That's why I said I'm making a conscious effort, and you're gonna see it on Mondays. I'm going against the grain 100%. It is my job, as y'all can see by my shirt, straight and proud. Of whoever it offends you. It is my job to go against all the establishment and to tear down everything everybody's afraid of. Because we like to look at certain instances and the stuff that's sensationalized on TV. There's a video of a black guy who offed a white perpetrator that was trying to rob him. And when the cops came and the buddy showed the cop his permit, the cop said, "Good job." There's a video of that out, but they never show that because it's going to paint the cops in a bad light. Do I think all cops are bad? I mean, do I think all cops are good? Absolutely not. Y'all know I've been in a lot of run-ins with the law in my time. And I've had some bad dealings with them, but all of them are not bad.
You know what it is? Why people have this perception that all cops are bad is because the people that we see on television are the bad apples in law enforcement. Like the people who are the videos that we see on constantly circulated through media is the people abusing their power, like cops beating on people and stuff like that. So that's where that mistrust, and I said in the chat, in general, it's ingrained in minority communities not to trust police or the government because they came from countries that had corrupt police forces or governments. So that it's ingrained in their brain not to trust the police in general. So I think that's where that mistrust of the police comes from. It's ingrained in the mentality of these people coming from countries that have corrupt police forces or something like that can get away with abusing people.
And let me say this last thing, and then I'm gonna go back to the back because y'all know I just want to talk about property tax stuff. But I'm gonna say this last thing. What we saw, the video that you saw that you played, Venkat, I've never seen that video before. That's why I appreciate seeing the video. Is just an excuse for people to be unruly. It is, and it took me a while to come to that conclusion to say that you get the cuss the authority and you get to do all of this because it just gives people a chance to be unruly. That's it. And it's a hard pill to swallow, but it is what it is. Those guys whatever you want to say, fortunately or unfortunately, have a right that as long as they aren't physically harming anybody, there's only so much the cops could do to them. things don't always have to look right to be right. MD always preaches this. It's the law. It's what's written on the books. So, again, I'm gonna be listening though, because I'm
Well,
still
hold on, Trevor. Don't go anywhere. So, I don't know where the amnesia came from, especially being black in this country. I don't know where all this comes from. It's very scary. There was a moment in time where it was a daily occurrence of somebody getting shot down for meaningless ways. It didn't matter if they followed everything to a T, didn't matter anything. Another one just dead. One after the next. You thought that Trayvon would have been like it would have slowed down. It didn't. It doubled, triple, quadruple. You thought that that any other incident that would happen would have sullied it, but it didn't. It just kept going. And like where we as black people have this false notion and sense of security on white man's laws that is going to somehow protect you and make you feel better. You don't know who you are going to counteract or interact with when you are out there. That legal crap goes out the window when you out in the element. Again, I don't know where this is coming from. It's really scary to me. But let's take a look here.
You want me to answer that though?
Yeah. I'm gonna make you answer for a second, but I just want to just watch this for a second here.
I remember this.
Well, sir. Good. How are you? Good. Reason I put you over, your brake lights are out. So you only have one active brake light, and that's going to be your passenger side one. Your third brake light, which is up here on top, and then this one back here, is going to be out. You have your license insured?
Sir, I have to tell you, I do have a firearm on me.
Don't reach for it then. Don't pull it out. Don't pull it out. Don't pull it out! Come on! Oh, man. Oh, my God. Don't move! Oh, my God. Don't move! Oh, my God. I'm shaking! Don't move! Don't move, baby! Code 3! Get the baby girl out of here!
Stay with me. We got pulled over for a busted tail light in the back. And the police, he's covered. He ain't killed my friend. He's licensed. He's licensed to carry. He was trying to get out his ID and his wallet out his pocket, and he let the officer know that he had a firearm and he was reaching for his wallet, and the officer just shot him in his arm. We're waiting for a back. I will, sir. No worries. He just shot his arm off. We got pulled over on Larpener.
I told him not to reach for it. I told him to get his hand out.
You told him to get his ID, sir, and his driver's license. Oh my God, please don't tell me he's dead. Please don't tell me my boyfriend just went like that.
Keep your hands where they are, please.
Yes, I will, sir. I'll keep my hands where they are. Please don't tell me this, Lord. Please, Jesus, don't tell me that he's gone. Please don't tell me that he's gone. Please, officer, don't tell me that you just did this to him. You shot 4 bullets into him, sir. He was just getting his license and registration, sir.
Get the female passenger out.
Ma'am, exit the car right now with your hands up. You see your hands. Exit now. Keep them up. Keep them up.
Where's my daughter? You got my daughter?
Face away from me and walk backwards. Walk backwards towards me. Keep walking. Keep walking.
All right. Yeah. So
let me
go ahead, Trevor. Go ahead.
Let me say this real quick, and I want everybody to hear what I'm about to say. Don't take it as me being insensitive, but we got to stop doing this. This is what I've been arguing with Wayne about all day. We were talking about one thing specifically. And then to prove that point, you go and get something else that was totally different.
No, that's not true, Trevor. You gotta be honest. You gotta be honest, Trevor. You just said about riding around with a gun, having the license to carry, having all this freedom talk about. And I said, when you're black, you can't be thinking like that. This guy had a license to carry. Just to mention that he had a gun, the guy just shot him up like that. And again, you're dealing with human beings.
The cops shooting up the white guys.
I'm sorry?
You got the videos of the cops shooting up.
I got plenty of those. I got plenty of those videos where that guy had some high-powered cop had a high-powered gun that you would see like in Predator, and he just told the guy, "If you move, you're gonna get shot." He just wanted to shoot the guy. The guy was like, "I'm so scared, and he shot the guy up. And it was a white guy, because it's mainly humans. Humans are trash. And when you deal with people to people, you're make-believing that some document that some jackass some politician wrote is gonna protect you when you out there in them streets dealing with a one-on-one situation that could go sideways at any time.
But by that logic, then you should never leave the house. You should never leave the house then. By that logic.
I didn't say anything like that. That's an extreme there.
Think about what you're saying. By that logic, you shouldn't go anywhere. Listen, that was very unfortunate, and I haven't seen that video in a while. Man, she didn't seem like upset at all. That's weird.
Okay. There's another video where she's in the back of the cop car with her, because her little daughter was in the back, witnessed the whole thing. Yeah. And the little girl said, "Why do people hate us like this, mommy?" or something like that, to that effect. There's more to that video, but
I'll ask you this. Because she constantly, what's being pierced into her mind is that perception. I don't disagree with it.
MD, I'm gonna let you get it, man, because whatever I say is gonna come off like I'm just being the meanest. Let me ask you a question, Venkat. Have you ever had any interaction with police?
Yes.
Have you ever been locked up? Have you ever been?
No, I ain't never been locked up, but I've had interactions with police.
I've been locked up 3 times. I had 2 state troopers slam me on the floor. One tried to spit on me, and when it missed, he was like, "Oh, damn, it missed." So I've had interactions with the cops since I was like 16. Well, no, my first arrest was at 12, but that's beside the point. What I'm saying, this is a very unfortunate situation, but that's what we do. We go find the situations that are that. All I'm saying is what we were talking about at the beginning, you moved off of real quick when I didn't move. Listen, you moved off real quick when I said that you could carry a rifle, which those guys had. So now, because that one didn't work, you're like, "Oh man, I got the Philando Castile in the back pocket." That's all I'm saying. If Philando Castile is going to be the next story, then let's talk about that when that comes up. We weren't even done with the first one. And then you wanted to move off because it's like, "Oh no, the same law that you want us to vote politicians in for, the same law that you're like, oh man, we need to choose the right candidate." These people are making gun laws, and now you're saying that they don't matter.
That's not what I'm saying.
You can't have it both ways. Everything is not going to be perfect.
Ain't nobody talking about perfect. I'm talking about just basic logic. As far as voting and being involved in the process and whatnot, that is damn sure important. And it's evident that it is important because you have dumb gun laws that are unsafe and that are misleading. And you're talking about people should know their laws. A lot of people, they don't live in the same area, so they move many times throughout their life. And every state has different laws, different that. The bottom line is that what laws that get put out there, it depends on who passes it. And there are laws to make blind people carry guns. There's laws to make mentally challenged people carry guns. Ironically, because of the Republican Party.
But let me push back on that real quick, just that one point before you move forward. I
Go
agree with
ahead.
everything you just said. I agree with everything you just said. But guess what?
Yeah.
Most of the time, and you know this to be true, Venkat.
Yeah.
If we even gonna go to the featured segment that just posted, those same laws that you were saying are unjust, there's a discussion to be had.
Yes.
Most of the time, because of the perception that black people got against government, they don't vote the right representation to change them laws. So why the hell is you complaining?
Right. So that's a problem, and that's the biggest problem. But the problem isn't to make a makeshift argument that, oh, I don't understand why blacks are acting this way towards the cop. That's a very well-defined legacy.
Wait a minute, I
Nobody in
didn't say that.
2025.
I didn't say that.
Anybody questioning why
I
blacks?
didn't say that. You made that up.
I made that up. Man, we need to rewind the
I
tape.
didn't say that.
So Venkat, is it the cop's job to interpret law, or is it the individual job to interpret the law? Because Anthony M came up here and said, there's a misconception of what we see, and that's why for the consensus we don't trust cops. I'm to the ideology of being like Austin, DTA, don't trust anybody. I want to know what the damn law is. Again, if things go awry, I got to take the necessary steps in order to justify my discrimination or my oppression of said law. It ain't up to the police to do that.
No, I'm not. Okay, so when you talk, I just had a problem with the willy-nilly language, the brass, like free language about blacks with guns interaction with cops. No matter if the person had the gun legally and was doing the right thing or wasn't doing the right thing, cops will just make it be the wrong thing to serve a narrative and make you a new example. And for anybody that's black that feels comfortable with white supremacy and their lapdogs, the police, that's a problem.
Okay,
that's a problem.
wait. Okay, I got you. Going back to Philando Castile, since you played that to try to refute what's being said.
Yeah.
Do you think that he had that certain perception toward police?
Yeah, he probably did. Yeah,
I mean, he's a black man at the end of the day. In the back of his
No.
mind, he probably did.
I'm saying he probably felt like I got my license to carry. I'm all good. Everything is fine. Blah blah blah. I'm saying is don't trust anything. Be cautious. Be aware. I wouldn't
Is
be
that
like
what Philando Castile did?
Huh? He did,
Is
and
that what Philando? He did.
That's what he did. Yeah.
But when the cops pull him over, why did he tell him he had a gun? He didn't have to say that.
Man, this is crazy, bro. Like,
what's crazy? Tell me what's crazy.
This is crazy, bro.
Tell me what's crazy.
He never had to mention that he had a pistol.
You didn't like the way that I said something. That's ridiculous. But to outright tell me when you could go pull up any measure, but I bet you won't do it because it won't prove your point that the cops offed more people that didn't look like us last year. But you won't bring that one up. But that's fine. That's
first
fine.
of all,
I'm the only one that'll do stuff like that. But
first of all, that would be like comparing black on black versus crack on crack. Crack on crack.
That stuff don't work anymore, man. It's like
if you have more white people and you have less black people, there's going to be more white incidents.
Again with this, man. I don't know, man. I
don't think you're hearing what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm
I'm literally supporting the thing that you just said.
I can't deal with this stuff no more.
What's going on here? I don't understand what's going on.
You guys are fear. So what do you want? You don't want anybody to be able to carry guns, huh?
Did I say that? I never said that.
I'm trying to get to what you're saying because people are legally carrying guns, legally carrying them. They're
And how many?
legally carrying them.
And how many black people that legally carry?
Just because you don't like what they're saying to people, now you're making it a big deal. Like, oh man, they shouldn't be able to do this because the language they're using is bad. Make it make sense.
I think you need to make sense. You're not saying anything of what I'm saying. You're going around and making your own alternative universe. What I am saying is, as a black person, it is very different than when a white person has it. There's plenty of videos out there showing goofy ass white guys yelling, berating, talking anyway to a cop. A black person try that, whether they have a gun or not, it's not going to be a good day. It's a difference. So this idea that, I am going to be equal because of this law, and if I can carry a gun as a black man, I should have the same stand. It doesn't work that way. Human beings are flawed. Things ain't fair. Things don't go the way you think it should. As a black person, there's extra levels and steps of protection that you need to have. And what I was saying was to talk willy-nilly, to talk loosely as if you having a permit somehow is going to safeguard your black life is ridiculous. That's absolutely absurd. As we have many, many examples. Philando Castile is one minute example. There's so many. It's happening right now. Probably somebody's getting shot down right now. There's so many injustices that have happened to blacks in contrast to the police and interaction with the police, that to have to explain it just blows my mind. And don't take my stuff that I'm saying out of context, because it's not. I'm saying very specific things. I'm not saying nobody should have a gun. Why do we have to blow up the whole conversation? I didn't say that. I'm saying, as a black person with black hands, you need to watch your black ass. That's all I'm saying. You don't get the same benefit of the doubt, no matter how much money you got, no matter how little money you got. It don't matter. Once you're black, that's it. Ask LeBron James when they spray painted his house, or any other star that's black that perceived to have all this popularity. But it didn't matter, because at the end of the day, it came down to being black. That's all I'm saying.
I don't disagree with anything you said, Venkat. Again, like I said, the language that you're using, I don't disagree with. It's the setting aside the legal parameters that you have to do exactly what you just said. If I'm to watch my black ass, I think I should know what the law is. You know what I'm saying?
I don't have
part of the law. Going back to that example, part of the law is not telling the cops you got a gun. You ain't got to do that. That's part of the law.
Well, I mean, there's a reason. I mean, before Philando Castile, there were other high-profile cop murders. And that you got to remember, back in that time, it was happening like every other day. The I Can't Breathe stuff, Trayvon, all this stuff, his death was around those times. So there was already this kind of like thickness in the air. It was you gotta have context in the day of when it was happening. You should have that feeling now. Nothing changed. Trump in the White House, white supremacy running wild, unchecked. Like, it's just like in that movie Menace Society, where the nigga said, it's open season and you're the hunt. It's true. Once you're black, it's the different. And I can't state it any other way. I can't.
Again, I agree, but that don't mean that you should be a hermit.
No, I never. But that's what I'm talking about, blowing up. Like, how did we get there? I'm saying you can go
that's
out.
Essentially, what you're saying.
No, I'm not. You can go out and blah blah blah. When the conversation went to, I got my permit and I could have it in the back of my truck and I could do this and I'm saying your ears should be perked up, and it should be a different way you move than when these white guys move around. You're not the same. We wish we were there. We're not there. That's what I'm saying. All this hermit and the extremes, like, no, I'm making a very specific statement, and it should be understood.
So can I go now?
Well, I have a other.
Man, listen, we having a real conversation here. I mean, I doubt what video you're going to play right now is going to be better than what we doing right here. Let me just say this. Let me
Go
just
ahead, Chuck.
because
Go ahead.
let's see how far I can get before you brut me. So all I was saying, because I had to go to the gun law thing because you guys don't know the gun laws. So I had to say, when I first started working for my company, my former boss, avid gun owner, said, Trevor, you better make sure and drive around with the gun laws in your car so you know what the gun laws are if somebody pulls you over. The laws are there. The laws are on the books to protect everybody. I don't care if you say, oh man, they treat them different than me, but the laws are still there. That's all I'm saying. It's like, I'm trying to figure out where all this come from. Yeah, we called you a hermit because you're literally moving. What you're doing is everything that you say, oh, you guys should understand it. But everything we say is like, oh man, why you moving the goalposts? No, that's what there we go. That's what having a conversation is. It's when you getting cut. I get it though. When you getting cut, man, you don't like it. So you'll just interrupt. That's fine though. But I'm done. I'm gonna shut up until y'all go to the property tax thing.
Hey, one last thing, Venkat, before we move on. Do you
Yes, sir.
remember the movie Book of Eli?
Who?
Book of Eli.
Oh, Book of, yeah. Book of Eli. Yeah.
Do you remember
With
the premise of that
Denzel.
movie?
Yes, sir. They got rid of the books, and he had to. I think something.
He had that Bible thing. He was blind, and blah blah blah. Yeah.
It was
and it was in Braille, and he protected it with his life. Why did he do that?
Because it was the law.
Oh,
and he knew if it got in the wrong hands, people was gonna misinterpret the book for nefarious means.
Yes,
this is that situation, Venkat.
You just have to go to MD.
Yeah. Oh God.
And the last thing, Venkat, when you brought up the Hunt Is On that Robert that my man did in Menace to Society, that was the worst example to bring up because in the entirety of that movie, it was niggas killing niggas. I'm done.
You better stop. There's greater themes in Menace to Society than just that. All right, so Ricardo, anything to add to that?
No, other than I get both sides of the argument. I get what you're saying, Venkat, where it's like, yeah, we can't be like, the law is there, but at the back of our heads as Black folks, we can't be so gullible in thinking that, okay, well, no harm is can be coming to me when it comes to like law enforcement or anything in terms of what we encounter on a day-to-day basis, as we've seen. But with that being stated, I also get Trevor's point. We can't always be victims here. We have to still abide by the law, and it's the same thing what goes with what me and MD will be saying in terms of like this country. We still got to follow the interpretation of the Constitution. It's there. It's the preamble. It's the literal, like the whole basis of what this country goes by in terms of laws. So when people go, oh, but you guys are still going by, you're still hanging on hope. Yes, because that's literally what I studied to become a citizen of this country. I can't go by anything else but other than that notion of this is what it is. So the same context is there. I get both sides of the argument, though. It's very interesting that we reach this parallel. We're at a tug of war and we have to meet in the middle with it. But it's very, very funny to see the contrast of it. But I get both sides of the argument. It's very interesting, but I get it. It's one of those things, though, where we always have to say, and I get it comes back down to what Trevor was saying as well, and you, Venkat. When it comes to the laws are there. Like MD always says the same thing. Why is it that Black folks are always triggered when it comes to the basis of if you know what it is that, the law says, why are you then, not following what it says? Because it's the same thing when we had that incident with the guy that was in the armed forces and he was playing his video game and he was in his house. Had he not let the damn cop into his damn domicile, he would have been alive today. But he chose to let him in for whatever reason, because apparently there was noise coming from the building. And the neighbor was like, oh, I think somebody's being abused or something. And it always starts like that. But then, had he just said to the cop, listen, there's no reason for you to come into my house. I'm not going to let you you can talk to me through the door. I'm not going to let you in. Had they busted in through the door and then that would have been it, that's it. But the fact that he invited the cop in is the same thing with the woman with the water and the kettle on the stove. She invited him in. So when you invited the cops in, you're technically allowing these situations to happen. The same thing. So I get both sides of the argument. It's very interesting to see the contrast between the two, but I get it. It's one of those things where, as a black folk, you can't forget in the back of your head, hey, you know, a cop will be a cop at the end of the day. He still might be triggered. Or a white folk might be, you know, I might be walking in the street in the night and I have on my clothes. And even if I look like a certain particular stature, they're still going to be terrified because, you know, I'm black. So I get it, but at the same time, you can't always be a victim to it, because if you continuously be that, then you're never going to be able to move. You're going to be just stuck in your house somewhere, or you're going to be like stifled by the fact that, oh my God, every time I walk out, somebody's going to think I'm going to be harmful. I'm black. It's like, it's triggering. It has to stop. It has to come to a point where you're like, all right, if they see me as this way, they're going to see me like that. Like Eminem said, even though he's white, I am whatever you say I am. If I wasn't, I wouldn't. So you got to go by that. You know what I'm saying? But it's an interesting conversation. I love where it went, and I need more of this on TV. It's very funny to listen to you guys go back and forth in the battle.
All right, so let me play now the other half of the video here. So we'll have our thoughts on the other end.
Dressed in all black and some waving Nazi flags, gathering on an overpass in the Cincinnati area. They were confronted by residents of a historically black community.
Burn that bitch up. Burn that bitch up, man. Burn that bitch burn. Let that bitch burn.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about?
I'm out.
Still the license off 15 shit. Y'all purple, man.
Get the boys the fuck out of here! Get the fuck out of here! Fuck y'all flag! Hitler been dead. Y'all living in the 40s.
Without a shadow of a doubt, and that's crazy that you allowed them to do that.
I like how you're putting words in my mouth.
That's how you feel, because you allowed. You stood on it because you allowed. You're here to protect and serve. You did not serve, because guess what? You got allowed them to drive off in a U-Haul, man. You allowed them to drive off in a U-Haul. Human beings not allowed to drive around in the back of a U-Haul. It's illegal.
We were dispersing them because you guys were coming up.
You let them drive off in a U-Haul. That's wrong.
Yes, and then we got them in vehicles and they're heading back home.
So you protected them then. So you cool with it. You feel how they feel. You feel how they feel about us, man.
That's hate. That's what hate is. That's what hate gets you.
Protesters say they were shocked and disgusted by what they saw on that overpass, but their gathering was about standing together.
This is unity. This is all you. Nobody's here to fight. Nobody's here to cause any trouble. Nobody's here to do any of that. But what we're not going to do is have hatred.
This love, like this united.
Yeah. And Nazi bullshit isn't going to be tolerated. And it's not the first time that this strategy has paid off and been really effective. For example, this white supremacist with swastika tattoos threw a bottle at a black man who was driving, and do you want to know what he did? He pulled over and made that Nazi clean his car. And he did just that.
Nigga, clean my shit right here. Right there where you hit it, nigga. Yeah, nigga, I should beat the fuck out you more, nigga. Yeah, nigga, clean all that shit. Nigga, what's your fucking problem, nigga? What's your problem, nigga? I should split your other side, cuz. Oh, me, nigga. What, you racist, nigga, or what?
Second, a community comes out to protect itself. But with regard to the Nazis in Cincinnati, the humiliation didn't end there, because even though they tried to hide their identities, well, Reddit sleuths quickly figured out who they were, because there was a different Nazi protest with the U-Haul last year, and they got sloppy and they took off their masks and people photographed them. So, needless to say, their little stunt did not go according to plan. But the news gets even better, because they may not be the only Nazis who are finding out after fucking around, because there's a different Nazi group called Blood Tribe, which is the one that spread the lie about Haitian migrants in Springfield, Ohio, eating cats and dogs, which was parroted by Donald Trump, by the way, on national television.
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
But that group is now being sued, as the New York Times reports, and they're seeking compensation for security that they had to pay after they were bombarded with harassment and even bomb threats after that neo-Nazi lie was parroted on national television.
Extremist group the Proud Boys no longer has control over its own name. On Monday, a judge in Washington, D.C. awarded the trademark name and logo to a historically black church in D.C. The group was also stripped from selling any merchandise with either its name or its symbols without the church's consent, And the church can also seize money that the group makes through its trademark. This comes after the far-right group defaulted on a $2.8 million settlement awarded to the church after it was vandalized during a protest in 2020.
On the night the church was vandalized, I was unaware until someone sent me a clip from the Proud Boys' actual Twitter feed that showed them in the yard at our church, violating the sacred space, destroying the Black Lives Matter sign, and howling all kinds of racial epithets too vile to share on television. And at that moment, I knew that we needed to respond. We were connected with the Washington Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights and with Paul Weiss, and we decided that we would pursue legal remedy. And we're glad that we did. What was interesting, Lindsay, is there were two suits. So there was one suit where Judge Kravitz ruled in our favor, and we got damages to the tune of $2.8 million and counting, because interest is a part of the calculation. And they defaulted on that judgment and did not pay. And so we came up with a strategy to attach ourselves to their trademark, to find what they had that actually was earning assets, so that through that asset, we would be able to then earn the money that the judgment said was ours, that the justice that we sought, a part of that justice was a financial penalty. And we believe that penalties have to be a part of making sure that people like the Proud Boys and other organizations of their far-right white supremacist ilk know that they will not be able to do what they are doing, not perpetuate this type of political violence without people standing up. And our victory is one victory among many. Every day there are people pushing back, organizing, and saying that this nation ought be a place where all of us gather, where all of us are safe, and that we will not allow these persons to terrorize us. We will stand up, we will speak up, and we will keep fighting back.
America, do your duty, make fascists fucking afraid again. Every day is Punch a Nazi Day.
So you would do that?
Should the opportunity present, with a smile.
With a smile, okay.
Nobody plays enough Wolfenstein anymore. We need to make more good Nazis. The good Nazis are the dead ones.
Who would you classify as a Nazi?
Elon Musk, Matt Walsh, Donald Trump, Hegseth. Not all.
So you would punch Matt Walsh in the face?
Absolutely.
If he walked down here, you would punch him in the face?
Sure.
I love the commitment.
Yeah, no, we've got better shit to do than put up with this crazy, stupid, fascist shit. We did this 80 years ago. The entire planet told them to fuck off. We had to kill 60 million people to do it. They can go the hell away. We've got better stuff to do.
All right, you want it? So your sign says there are no illegal humans.
Correct.
But you would punch people that are humans in this country.
The police response to the apparent neo-Nazi demonstration Friday.
And Hamilton County Sheriff Charmaine McGuffey today assured angry residents at a town hall this afternoon that they are investigating police conduct before, after, and during the heated demonstration.
The police department's role in escorting the pro-Nazi group away. Evendale police put out a statement saying that the Nazi display was offensive but not illegal.
What became clear yesterday was that there has been a pretty significant deterioration in the relationship of the sheriff to the community. That's why people feel they don't trust the policing, the law enforcement that exists in the community.
District leaders say after the confrontation on the overpass, the group was then escorted by police onto a school's property, just a few minutes before elementary school students were set to be dismissed. In video shared with us by the school district, you see the U-Haul, and it does appear to be escorted by a police cruiser off of I-75 onto the school parking lot. The U-Haul stops for a brief moment, and there's some kind of exchange between the driver and someone else. The U-Haul then continues to follow the police cruiser through the school's parking lot and then gets back onto I-75. All of this happening in under 5 minutes. The Laughlin police chief tells WCPO his department was unaware until later of the Evendale officer's actions.
The Laughlin officer was never involved in that U-Haul getting from the highway to the school and then, out of the area.
New video just released by Evendale police shows the moments an officer interacted with a neo-Nazi group after that demonstration over 75 near Lincoln Heights.
There's been a lot of discussion, obviously, about this incident since it happened 11 days ago on February 7th. So you're about to see the officer on the overpass first ordering the white supremacist group to get into the U-Haul and leave the bridge when counter-protesters then arrive. So about 5 minutes later, You could see the same officer walk up to the U-Haul outside of a Laughlin local schools building shortly before kids were about to be released from class that day. Here's the exchange now between the Evendale officer and the neo-Nazi group in the U-Haul, and the one man not wearing a mask you're about to see asking if he can go back and pick up his service dog where the protest happened on the overpass on 75.
We're trying to figure out a plan to get that.
Yeah, I don't know if we got to get him an Uber or something. That's probably the best bet, I'm guessing. I don't think anybody knows about.
There's a dog. If the dog in there is cool with, if the dog is in there is cool with me driving it to you guys, I can go and get it. But there's a dog in there. I don't know.
We need to get him. He's my service animal. That's why I really need to get him. But
Get you an Uber. Let's go. Here,
get your mask on. Let's go. I don't give a my face right now.
Just take that black that shirt off, and you can get my car.
Cool, thank you, brother.
And then,
God bless you, dude.
if I got in the driver's seat of the car, would the dog bite me? You think?
No.
No. Okay.
No. He's a good dog. He'll sniff you to death.
You make sure you got your keys.
Hey, officer, did you see?
Hey.
Yeah, I got the.
You guys are you guys done?
Yeah, we're done.
There's no other.
No, we're just trying to go get the dog and get the Jeep, and then we're out. Yeah, we're gone.
Let's go grab it.
Yeah, and I was even telling him, dude, we need to leave like forever ago, but you know.
White supremacy is not your friend. All right, so hashtag Free Trevor 2025. Your thoughts on the video?
I was eating my spaghetti. I wasn't really paying attention to it. The only thing I did love is my man in the front getting beat up, and my man made him clean his car off. But that's all I got right now.
Okay. All right. So, MD, what are your thoughts on the video?
Yeah. So, yeah, the first couple of clips in the segment were absolutely spot on. The first segment, you know, his property was violated. He had every right to protect his property. He beat the dude ass and made him clean his car. Like, justifiable. The church, I love that, because he used said system, said law to you know, stick it to him. Hey, that's what we got to get more of. That's just a fact. He played him so hard where he trademarked. That's some Vince McMahon stuff. He trademarked their own name. You can't get no colder than that. That's just a fact. Now, to your point, Venkat, with the Evendale Police Department, that's some shady stuff. But again, I can't look at shady business and look at it as it being, you know, a disadvantage toward me. Them cops should have, at the very least, gave them a citation for riding in the back of that U-Haul. You just letting them ride. Matter of fact, you escorting them. Why 6-7 Nazis in the back of a U-Haul? That's not right. like at all. He could at least say, hey, look, man, y'all can't be riding. Again, I believe he should have said when they was on the bridge, hey, look, we're here. You know, we're not going to allow anything to pop off. If it do pop off, there will be arrests. But you're going to walk through these black people to get to where you need to go so y'all can go. And they hightail out of there so damn fast, he left the damn dog. How you leave the dog? That's crazy. The dog looked around like, what the hell is going on? So, you know, I'm not saying that there were bad actors as far as the police. I'm not saying that. This video just showed that they were bad actors. He went out of his way to accommodate these white folks. But I'm saying is I'm not going to look at that and then turn around and put myself in a box as it pertains to my own right. I'm not going to do that. I'm not saying, I don't want to go back to that conversation. I ain't saying you saying that, Matt.
I hear you.
But I'm just saying they did go out of their way, even going into another district. like that's crazy in its own right. And there should be some type of disciplinary action. They went into another district to escort these people all the way out, pretty much out the city, so they can get to their vehicle to wherever they parked at. That's crazy. And they riding in the back of the damn U-Haul doing it. So, you know, there should be some type of investigation as far as the conduct of the officers. 100%. So that's what I'll say on that.
All right, thanks, FD. Ricardo, your thoughts on the video, sir?
Yeah, all in all, I mean, yeah. So the one thing that I loved was just watching through the videos was that you see the contrast between when you see the guy, like that one skinhead guy that threw the bottle at the man's truck. Like, sir, did you not know what F around and find out means? Like that's like the best retribution I've seen in a while, where he pulled over and was like, I'm gonna beat your ass. And he literally did beat his ass and almost blocked him out, which he's supposed to do. That's more of what you're going to see of when I think going forward, because a lot of times people like those type of people, the skinheads, the KKKs, the whatevers, that always be doing this nonsense, don't realize that once black folks become tired of the bull, they will beat your ass and they will make sure they make an example out of you, because by far you're not learning a damn thing. We've progress to move forward to then go back to nonsense. No, nobody got time for that. Plus, you damage somebody's property, which an eye for an eye, tooth for tooth is really well entailed in that video. The shady video with the cop, that I don't know if it's shady, but more of the but then again, it's up to interpretation again, because we don't know. Perhaps I'm going to give the cop, the law enforcement officer, the benefit of the doubt here. Perhaps he was trying to assist with making sure they get out of there and not create more of a ruckus, seeing that, the crowd, the mob of black folks that came out, because they weren't expecting the black folks to be like all emboldened in retaliating. So he was like, yo, take my car and blah, blah, blah. As for why you would make him drive in your vehicle, or maybe that's how I interpret it, is beyond me. But again, you can't help but ask or, rationalize with the black folks that were there, like, why are you aiding them? Why are you helping them? Like, your job is to actually try to assist us in getting them, cleared out. So it looks a certain way. It's kind of weird from a certain angle. It's all about periphery here, and if you put on the blind sheets, it's one way. So again, interpretation is one thing, and it's another when it comes out the opposite way. So I don't know. But I could see where the black folks in those moments were like, all right, well, that just looks shady as hell. And why are you aiding them? Because you clearly see them coming here to create trouble. So you should have been able to say, hey, get the hell out of here with a U-Haul or fix whatever it is. And even if the U-Haul are broke down, make them call some tow truck or whatever and figure it out and get the hell out of there. Why are you there in the first place? No one told you to bring your ass there in the first place. So you should figure it out to get out. So that's how I looked at it. But yeah, that's all I got from it. It's one of those things where we've seen this before. This whole thing, I don't know if it's planted. I don't know if it's intentional. I see this quite often because we saw this the first time in the first administration with Trump, where we saw Tiki people marching somewhere in Virginia, a whole battleground of them going somewhere. I don't know where the hell they were walking to, creating some scene. And then here comes these folks now, all emboldened, talking about what they're going to be riding on a bridge. As for why you doing that, again, they have the right to move around. I mean, it's the law. But when you create a ruckus and then something comes about from there, you can't get mad when people, do whatever they do. But I say that to say this as well. Black folks, that's not your cue to then go about and do and be all, doing niggerific things. It's not that. It's not the scene. We don't want that. Now, if they had started something and then it's like a cause for you retaliating, that's different. But you don't need to be amped up and going 130 for these morons, because we know what their ammo is. It's always going to be the same thing. Create a scene, create a problem, shout your racism and your tirade, and to get the crowd riled up. That's all they're going to continuously do. The minute you're more smart and you're more one step ahead of them, as long as they don't do something that will cause you to retaliate, like that whole Alabama scene where we had to use the chair, by all means, just let them do what they need to do and run their ass out. Simple as that. I think we've moved and progressed so far to then not forget where we're coming from, but going forward, we need to know exactly how to handle situations where we're not heated. If that makes sense. Why make people get under your skin when you know what their ammo is? It just, is a time and place for it, but don't be all niggerific for the moment. It's just giving them too much ammunition they don't need.
All right. Okay, so let's go to the next segment, the property taxes. We need to get into that conversation here. So we'll get our thoughts on the other end of this video.
Property taxes, it's like you buy a home, you buy land, maybe you buy the home outright, but maybe you pay off a mortgage over 30 years. And then, okay, you've paid off the mortgage, you bought the land, you've been taxed many times. It's like, is it your property or not? Just for being on your property, you got to write a check to the government every year. So you're basically paying rent to the government to live on your own property. And our homestead exemption is not strong enough to help these folks because the property gets assessed so high. And that's the thing. If you buy a home for $300,000 and you know there's certain tax, well then what? 10 years later, they say it's worth $700,000. And so, and they say, there's homestead stuff that helps protect you to a certain extent, but you're paying more. And a lot of people can't afford that. So I think that that's a big issue. And I know we're going to be really looking at ways to bring people relief from that, because I think it's been really something that's pinching a lot of homeowners, particularly seniors on fixed income. But the reality is people have seen, and this is not the state, we don't control this, we've not allowed any of that stuff to happen. We've been cutting taxes, but people have seen their property tax liability go up over these last years because the property is being assessed higher and higher. And the reality is you don't really know how much your home is worth until someone offers you money and is willing to pull the trigger on a sale. That's how a market works. You can say it's worth this much, but if no one's willing to come and offer you that much, then why should you pay taxes on that amount? And so there's a lot of things that need to be done with that. But as part of our DOGE initiative, our state task force will look into local government expenditures by utilizing publicly available county and municipal spending records so that we're able to provide this information in a digestible way.
He also wants to get rid of property taxes. That would be a first for any state in America.
It's going to be good for taxpayers, and it's ultimately going to be good for students as well.
Cities and counties now scrambling to figure out how they would pay for first responders and schools, while state agencies and universities could be forced to fire hundreds of people.
It sounds great up front, but there's always and what? Like at what cost?
Yeah, you heard that right. Property taxes here in Florida could soon be a thing of the past.
But many are worried about how cities, counties, and even the state would cover those missing funds. We have live team coverage on the cutback controversy tonight. Fox 35's Stephanie Buffamonte is looking at what DOGE could be cutting, but we start with Chancellor Wynn. So, Chancellor, you talked to one mayor about the possibility of property taxes going away.
John Luann, eliminating property taxes could have a huge impact on local governments. I mean, here in Oviedo, the mayor says the police and fire department completely rely on the money generated from property taxes. Now, we have also been speaking to some homeowners who say they understand what their property taxes are paying for. They simply say the costs are just getting too high.
I'm sure the entire state's being affected right now with the high property taxes.
As Governor Ron DeSantis floats the idea of eliminating property taxes, some homeowners like Darren LeMay say it sounds too good to be true.
It sounds great up front, but there's always and what? Like at what cost?
And that is the concern. Property taxes are what pays for public schools and roads, as well as essential services like fire and police departments.
We pay over $22 million to sustain our police and fire departments. And that is, that's all of our property taxes. We use 100% of our property taxes for public safety.
That's just for the city of Oviedo. Statewide, you're looking at over $40 billion that would either need to be cut from budgets or the money would have to come from somewhere else.
If the sales tax were to go up, what the number I've heard preliminarily is it would have to double.
While eliminating property taxes is an incentive specifically for homeowners, policy analyst Esteban Santis says it's everyone who could potentially be paying a double-digit sales tax.
If you are in the top 1%, if you're wealthy, that's going to be great. But if you are,
your everyday Floridian, they're not going to see too many benefits from this policy. Then if we do double the sales tax, they're just going to see the cost of goods just jump up at the cash register.
Experts say proposing to eliminate property taxes is instead shining a light on other issues like affordability that many Floridians face.
Florida's plan to end property taxes for good could change everything for homeowners. Right now, even if you've paid off your house, you're still stuck paying the government every single year just to keep it. Stop paying, they take your home. That's not real ownership. That's a lifetime lease with the state. Now, Ron DeSantis says he'd support getting rid of property taxes, and if Florida pulls this off, it would be one of the biggest financial wins for homeowners in history. No more tax bills showing up year after year. No more worrying about rising rates, forcing people out of their homes. If this happens, it's going to change the game. But how would it actually work? Owning a home should mean it's yours. But in Florida, even after you pay off your mortgage, you're still stuck paying property taxes every single year. And if you can't keep up, the government can step in, they put a lien on your house, and eventually they're going to take it from you. And when home values jump, property taxes do as well. And if you're buying a home, you're in for a nasty surprise. The year after you purchase, your home gets reassessed at full market value, meaning your property tax bill could double or even triple overnight. A lot of new homeowners don't see this coming, and suddenly their monthly costs shoot through the roof. Now, on a side note, this isn't just a Florida problem. It happens in states all across the country. So no matter where you're buying a house, be aware your property taxes will go up the year after you buy your new home. So how do we fix it? A guy named Aaron on X sent Governor Ron DeSantis this message. We really need to abolish property taxes here in Florida. What do we need to do to make it happen? And the governor, he actually responded. Property taxes are local, not state. So we need to do a constitutional amendment, which requires 60% of voters to approve it, to eliminate them, which I would support, or even to reform, lower them. We should put the boldest amendment on the ballot that has a chance of getting that 60%. I agree that taxing land property is the more oppressive and ineffective form of taxation. That means it's up to Florida voters, us, to decide. If enough people support it, we could be looking at a future where homeowners aren't forced to pay rent to the government forever. And property taxes don't just hit homeowners. They drive up the cost of everything in the housing market. When taxes go up, landlords raise rent to cover the extra cost. It's a never-ending cycle that makes housing more expensive for everyone. Now, imagine if property taxes were gone. Fixed housing costs mean more stability, and that's exactly what Florida needs right now. Paying off your home should be the ultimate reward, and it should mean you get to live in peace for the rest of your life and not have to worry about someone taking it away. But that's not how it works. Let's break it down. Say you buy a $300,000 house and your property tax rate is 2%. That's $6,000 a year in taxes. Over 30 years, you'd pay a total of $180,000 just in property taxes. That's more than half the price of the house itself. Now, imagine if that money stayed in your pocket instead of going to the government. That's money that could go towards paying off your mortgage faster, saving for retirement, or fixing up your house. This would also benefit renters too. Right now, when landlords' property taxes go up, they pass these costs straight to tenants. They have to, or they'd be out of business. If property taxes were eliminated, landlords wouldn't have to worry about covering the massive annual bill, which means they could keep rents more affordable instead of hiking them up every time the county reassesses their property. If Florida really wants to tackle the affordable housing crisis, eliminating property taxes is one of the best ways to do it. And Florida is already one of the best places to live because we don't have a state income tax. Now that alone pulls in people from all over the country.
Who do you want deciding how much you're going to pay in local property taxes? Who do you want deciding how much you're going to give to your local public schools? Do you want to have a vote for it, or do you want someone in Jefferson City deciding for you? Because the answer to that really says what you believe about inequities. It says whether or not you're willing to allow some districts to have more money than others. Recently, NPR and their affiliate stations around the country have done a number of stories about school funding. And they've looked at these inequities between school districts where you have some spending a lot and some spending a little. And they've concluded that the problem is the property tax. Well, the truth of the matter is that the property tax isn't what creates these inequities. The real cause of these inequities is the fact that we have districts themselves and that we allow districts to decide how much they're going to tax themselves. So freedom and boundaries are what creates inequities between school districts. Now, this is a really fundamental question about what we believe in terms of public education. What is the proper role of the state? What is the proper role of local citizens in terms of taxing themselves?
All right, there we go. So we'll go to hashtag Free Trevor 2025.
No. Go. I want to hear what MD got to say first. I'll go whenever after MD. I'll go after MD. So whichever other order.
All right, MD, floor is yours.
Yeah, I don't know why you did that. I mean, you the homeowner in here. I mean, you should be able to talk first. But I go. Because, you know, again, like I said in the conversation that we had, and like they reiterated here, I mean, we all affected by property tax. You know, despite how you want to look at it directionally. You know what I'm saying? As far as that last little clip in that video, he started off good by talking about the school, and I totally agree. Districts should be abolished. I said that also in the conversation that we had. But he was categorically false in what he said as far as that being little effect from property tax. That's dumb. Property tax is based on valuation of a home. Therefore, it ain't in theory, it's directly. If homes are valued in a particular manner in this neighborhood versus another neighborhood, and that's the money that's being directed to the public service, property tax got everything to do with it. So what that dude said was categorically false. Like I don't even know how he came up with that. He started off good and collapsed. Like that's crazy. Now, I'm not saying that I'm a proponent of property tax. I think that was a misconception the other day when we was talking about this. Because I'm not. What I'm saying is, you're gonna have to show me Ron DeSantis didn't do it. The guy in the middle of the video didn't do it. That guy at the last part of the video didn't do it. But the guy in the news clip in the beginning, he said there's gonna be a but or and what? He was exactly right. You're gonna have to show me in a state like Florida that already ain't got state income tax. You're gonna have to show me in Florida how is the state going to generate revenue. That's just a fact. I mean, like what are you gonna do? Okay, cool. You don't got no more income tax. Your house gonna instantly be devalued. Instantly. It's gonna be like the stock market crash. Instantly devalued. Why? Because there ain't no baseline to go off of no more. That's just what it is. Secondly, like I said in the conversation yesterday, they either gonna take it out your left cheek or your right cheek. Whatever is your preference at the end of the day. That's just what it is. Us lowly renters feel the same effect. Hell, to a certain degree, hell, probably more. You know what I'm saying? Statistics show that, and everybody knows this, renters pay significantly more on monthly expenses to housing than more. Again, I'm not saying that, you know, that's a reason, because it's not. We all got our preferences, we all got our choices. I think we all should aspire to be homeowners. It ain't that big a deal, but I think, you know, we should all aspire. But because you see a direct annotation as far as annual taxes versus a renter that sees lease increase, it's tomato. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? Hell, I gotta save just like the next person. If you're going to say indefinitely that you want to abolish property tax, I'm to the persuasion, and I'm, you know, let me put on my leftist hat. I'm to the persuasion from a Keynesian standpoint as it pertains to economics, that a lot of the services that we use every day should be federally funded. That'll get rid of it. I didn't see Ron DeSantis say that like at all. So all I'm asking is, give me what are you going to counterbalance this with? Until you do that, you're MAGA babbling to me. That's just what it is, and that's all I say until I hear what. I mean, I pretty much already know what Trevor gonna say, but
all right, Mike. You know you got two avatars up here. So let me say this real quick. I don't. So before anybody want to say, "Oh, you want to do this," I don't think that property tax should be abolished outright, 100% outright. Let's not say that I'm saying that. But as somebody who has to pay property tax, it's not fair that when I bought the house, I had to pay taxes. My taxes went up, $5,000 the following year, and it's been going up ever since. So I'm literally paying taxes on the same thing over and over and over again. And I'm glad in the video they said, hey, even if you pay it off, you still got to pay taxes on it. So you never own the property, you're leasing the property. So how do you fix that? Big misconception. Everybody's talking about, oh man, the property tax takes care of the schools and this and that and this and that. It's partly. You can go to any tax, you can go to the Florida tax code, it's out there. It'll show you Florida sales tax. Let me bring it up because I don't want nobody to say I'm lying. The general fund, Florida sales tax that is collected by the state of Florida, it goes into a general fund, and that general fund funds the police department, transportation and infrastructure, public schools, children's health insurance, recreational facilities, parks, medical facilities, environmental products. That's covered through the sales tax. Now, what's my proposal? Just increase the sales tax. Now, the person who don't own property will be like, oh man, why should I have to pay an increased sales tax because of you? Hey, all I hear is everybody preaching, let's all share we all share in the burden, so everybody will be a little bit more better off. Monday, I told them the stat homelessness in this country since last year went up 18%. And you know why? A lot of it is because people can't pay their damn property tax. Even if you own the house and you don't pay the property tax, guess what? They're going to put your house up for auction and kick you out of the house, which will lead to somebody being homeless. MD mentioned even as a renter, when his landlord property tax goes up, obviously they're not going to pay it on their own. They're going to pass it off to you. So my proposal would be raise the sales tax up to 10%. We're at 7%, and this is just Florida. I don't know what sales tax, I don't know if it's 7.5% everywhere, but sales tax in Florida is 7.5%. So I figure 10% because you're already paying for the schools and stuff. So don't act like property tax. I'm not saying UMD. Don't act like property tax is solely what funds the schools. It is not. Sales tax funds the schools, the police department, the fire department. What I'm seeing here is somebody got their hand in the pocket a lot, because what I did yesterday, I went and pulled my property tax bill because I have it. They hit me for the same exact tax 3 different times. Can you imagine you paying tax 3 different times? And DeSantis was right. The homestead exemption doesn't do shit because the homestead exemption is just $50,000. That's not doing nothing when they're taxing you $6,000 or $7,000, every year, and it's going up. The homestead exemption is supposed to protect you from that, but obviously is not. And the last thing I'm gonna say, because I think Ricardo brought up the Florida lottery yesterday. The Florida Lotto, let's come up with some numbers again, because this comes from Yahoo News. Again, Florida Lotto, since its inception, donated $50 billion to education. You're like, oh man, $50 billion, that's not a lot. $50 billion on top of what the state is already collecting in taxes, what they're already collecting in property tax. The Florida Lotto also last year, the Florida Lotto put $9.2 billion in a Bright Future Scholarship program. More than 606 million was generated for this from this scholarship. You're getting money everywhere. What this comes down to is for somebody to be like, you know what? Let's stop being greedy and give people some relief. No, I don't think you should get rid of property tax 100%. You won't be able to do it unless, like the guy said, you double sales tax. Then if you double sales tax, the person who didn't have to pay property tax is now going to complain. Let me tell you something. I just found out recently that sales tax went up to 7.5%. because it's just one of them things that you don't pay attention. When you're buying things on a daily basis, you're not really looking at the tax. I guess if it doubled, then we'll probably notice it a little bit more. But think about the people that would be kept inside their homes, that wouldn't have to lose their homes. You know how many people in Florida every year, when that tax bill comes around, how they fret, they worry. At least with us, the mortgage company takes care of it, and you pay the mortgage company. But people who didn't get in that deal, they had to come up with that money up front, and they got to pay that bill up front. So I would, for anybody who opposes this, I just want to know why. I want to know why you really oppose this. And don't come up here and say that I'm saying get rid of it, because I'm not saying get rid of it. I'm saying cut it down drastically. Homeowners insurance has gone up 3 times to the point that insurance companies in Florida don't even want to insure your house anymore. The rates are so high.
That's DeSantis' fault.
Some people need to get some type of relief somewhere. And if you cut property tax and don't be, everybody doesn't own homes. Bullshit. 67% of the people are homeowners in the state of Florida. 67.3 to be exact. 67.3% of people are homeowners in the state of Florida, which is kind of high in the country. So let's
why is that, Trevor? You can't just stop right there. Why is that?
What do you mean? What are snowbirds?
Florida is not a worker state,
and no sales tax.
A lot of those people are on a high fixed income.
You have a lot of snowbirds. You have a lot of snowbirds coming from up north.
So yeah, I don't think that's a good argument.
Hey, damn near 70% of people are homeowners. And unfortunately, because we like to talk about the black people, 47% of black people in the state of Florida own homes. I couldn't believe that if I wouldn't have just saw it, I wouldn't have believed it. But a lot of those have to struggle every year to pay that property tax bill. So that's all I'm saying. Don't get rid of it. You could spread the wealth a lot. Stop being wicked. There should be no reason I should look at my property tax bill and I'm being hit 3 times the same tax from 3 different people. Why? The schools are taxing me. The fire, the hospitals taxing me. And the municipalities is taxing me. But you're already getting a kickback from the state in the sales tax. Hey, if something don't look right in Kansas, I'm done.
My question is, how soft of a blow do you think increased sales tax would be?
Depends
generally.
Depends what you bump it up. Well, you want to bump it up to 10%?
No. The reports I'm seeing is 12.
MD, I don't.
That would be double.
MD, if you're not making average people, who's really making? Because obviously they're not taxing the wealthy what they should be taxing them. So if the medium class, if the middle class and the poor people have to foot the bill for this, why not try to make it just spread it all around the board? I don't think a 12%. My number was 10, but if you want to use 12, I don't think a 12% sales tax increase is going to hurt us much more than what it already is. I mean, than what we already hurting.
It would double or triple. It ain't going to be no little increase. Yeah. That's a lot of money
low income family
made up. That's why it's a difficult thing, because that money has to come from somewhere. Either you have to raise more money or you got to cut money. And judging by where Elon Musk going, I don't think people are fans of money from the government being cut.
And on top of that, Venkat, sales tax is an unreliable source of income. Who's to say like goods gonna be bought at that rate
The
to
great
make
point.
up the money?
That's real too. That's an inconsistent thing. Sales can
Hey
be up,
man,
sales can be down.
So
hey,
the
hey,
people who
y'all.
don't own the houses, like, man, fuck y'all with the houses. Y'all keep
See,
paying
you
your
keep
bills.
going to that,
That's
but
what y'all
again,
doing. That's what
Yo,
y'all
Trevor,
doing.
it's cash your ass, Trevor. That's just what it is.
Trevor keeps falling
I don't
for it.
think of the notion, the guys talking about, oh, it's you renting your own house. I don't look at it like that. Everything is taxed.
How
That's just
look
what
at
it
it,
is. We
MD.
all got to pay it,
You
huh?
are renting your house. Where else do you
So
pay property tax?
you ain't renting no house. You're
Where
paying the government a tax.
No,
That's
but,
where else do you do this?
it's kind of bad.
so we renting our cars. We you know what I'm saying? Like I don't go by
MD,
that notion.
once your car is paid off, you're not paying no tax on it on a
Hey,
You
yearly
but
still
basis.
paying your
so am I
registration. You
owner of
still
the car
paying your insurance.
if I got
Whoa,
if I
somebody
got a
on
car
mute.
note?
You still paying your registration. You still paying your
Yeah, you
insurance. You
still
still
got to pay
paying.
registration.
You still
Got to
got to
pay,
pay
yeah.
for them. It's just not absorbent. What we need to be worried about is trying to find out why the property taxes are moving the way they do. You can't get rid. Yo, I don't understand why y'all fall for this every year. Every year they have
Did I say get
initiatives
rid
to
of
go on
them?
the balance.
Did I
Every
say
year they
get
put
rid
in.
of them?
Every year. Did I say you did? Okay, then let me talk. I was quiet when you was talking. Hush mouth. Mute button. Thank you kindly. When every year, every single year, they put something on the ballot, they put a ballot on the initiative, they give you this double talk speech. Oh, wouldn't it be good if you did this and you did this and this would happen and this would happen? And they never tell you the other side. They never tell you the other side. Oh, it sounds real good. You want to act like it's nothing to go up to 7.5%? Yo, that 1.5% raise nearly killed people when it happened. You didn't realize it because you're in a different tax bracket, sir. Poor people were hurt. Poor people were hurt. People, and you want to say why it was harder to buy houses? How about when people were paying a whole 1.5% buying a house more in taxes than they were before? When you get up into the hundreds of thousands, that's a lot of money, sir. It's a lot of money. Now you're going to put it up to 12? You're going to raise it. It's going to be insane. There's no one else is going to buy a house. You're going to be the last generation to get a house. But I'm not
Whoa,
even
whoa,
going to
whoa,
that.
no,
I want to go into this.
Mike.
Now, hold on. You said a whole lot of foolishness and ain't nobody cut you off.
1 second, because you're saying something I didn't say. Nobody said put property tax up to 12%.
I didn't say property tax. I said sales tax.
Yeah, I think he meant sales tax. He missed
I said sales
property tax, Mike.
No,
he mistalked, Trev. I knew what he meant. He mistalked.
Can you let me talk? I said when the 1.5 sales tax went into action, a lot of poor people were hurt by it. You weren't hurt by it. You said you could care less. You said you didn't even know it was 7.5. I said poor people were hurt. They were hurt. I promise you. I was there with them. They were hurt. And if you jump that sales tax up another notch, people who don't get food stamps, people who get the bypass taxes, they're going to be hurt first. You think $5 is nothing about buy a carton of eggs? Add the sales tax, is going to jump crazy. I promise you. Now, you want to act like it's so easy to get you say it's so difficult to get a house, and we finally got our house, and now you think anybody else going to be able to get a house when the taxes rise up that much? Because sales taxes on houses too. Nobody's going to be able to have anything in escrow. And let's be clear. When they get rid of property tax, the local governments, that is the local government's money. That's the local government's money. Your local government's going to be nothing. They're going to be dependent on the state government, and all the purple state that we kind of are, the little purple state, is going to be gone. We're going to be red, and that's it. We're going to become Texas. That's what's going to happen. We're going to become Texas. All the stuff you complain about, well, how come they took slavery out the books? How come the CEI? How come this? How come that? It's going to go red. We're going to become Texas because the only reason that they have money in the local government is from property tax. They don't get, the property tax doesn't really go to the state like that. So, and last but not least, and I'm going to shut up and get off and let y'all tear me apart. Never in the history of government has there been a large deficit of money that was filled by nothing, that was filled by anything good. Never have they taken away a bunch of money and then said, okay, we're just going to budget a little better. No, they don't budget better. They cut something that you need, or they charge you more for something that you already are buying. That's what's going to happen. You don't know where it's coming from, so it sounds like it's nothing. All you're caring about is your one little domino. Your one little domino is, I ain't got to pay $5,000. Yeah, but you're going to pay $10,000 somewhere else. That's what's going to happen. Y'all act like y'all slow. I know y'all not. That's your favorite line to say, I'm black and I'm slow. You ain't stupid. You've been in this world long enough. You know if you're arguing with your girl and you go, all right, man, I'll do whatever you want. I'm gonna chill out. And then she go, oh, so you're not gonna say nothing? You're not gonna give me no passion? Cool. You know later on, somewhere down the line, you're gonna pay for what you did. She gonna dry up the cooch. She gonna lock up the bed. She gonna put some pillows between you. You're gonna pay for it somewhere else. It's like that. It's human nature. If we stop paying property tax, they're gonna tax it out our ass somewhere else. You think $5 eggs is the problem? Wait till you try to buy a piece of lumber when the hurricane comes, and the lumber is $45 a piece for a 2x4. It's gonna go somewhere else. And you putting that on top of the tariffs we already gotta pay because Trump's out his damn mind. Your money is gonna dry up, sir. You do not destroy a money source. You figure out why the money source is corrupt and fix it. That is the correct move. I give you the rest of my time.
So
Mike is right, goddammit.
Look at that message. Damn, cuz mad in the mud.
Let me say
I'm
this
not
one
even
last
mad.
thing.
It just don't make no sense. People see something and they just leap for it because it sounds good.
I
Hey,
like how he's still making it seem like I said get rid of it though.
No, I did not say that,
love
sir.
that.
I did not say that. You're taking that because you want to argue. I'm saying you cannot get rid of anything. You cannot change anything. You have to find out why. That's why when people go, all right, let's just get rid of Medicare. People go, no. You can't get rid of Medicare without there being something else. There has to be something else that you can take from. There has to be something else that'll fill the gap. If you just destroy something with nothing to fill the gap, you know what's going to fill the gap? Corruption. That is what happens. That is what has always happened. That is what will always happen. They're going to have robber barons, and I promise you there's going to become some business that sparks up that's going to suck poor people dry. And as you know, in America, whenever there's a vacuum of pain, black people are first. Whenever there's rights to give out, black people are last. That's what's going to happen. You're gonna think, oh man, I'm paying less property tax. You're gonna pay it out your ass somewhere else. And you're gonna come back to this video and you're gonna be like, God dang it, I hate to say it, but Mike is right. You all continue.
Hey, let me say this one last thing before Ricardo go. What Mike said is 100% correct. Also, we got to take into account
Stop flirting with me,
microinflation.
MD.
Say what?
I said stop flirting with me. You know I like to hear that. Stop saying the stuff I like to hear.
Man, watch out, man. Close your ears in. It's a such thing as microinflation. If you get rid, again, the reason why goods and services, housing, all this stuff is so high in Florida is mainly due to the fact that y'all ain't got no state income tax. You get rid of property tax, guess what's going to happen? Goods and services going to go up even higher. It's microinflation. It's a hell of a lot of money that's going to be in circulation.
Get rid of though, MD.
No, I'm not saying that you said that. I'm going off the proposal that DeSantis is talking about. Unless you the governor of Florida, then I'm speaking on the governor of Florida.
And here go the real funny thing. This is the real interesting thing. A certain somebody on this group, on this show, always want to go in the CEO's pockets and always want to, you should spread more of your money around, which that's never going to happen. That's never going to happen because they're protected, unfortunately. Now you have somebody that's proposing a plan and we don't even know what he always go off of a video that he said, hey, this is what I think we should do. And then everybody's now making up their opinion as to what he's gonna do. Let's be clear about that. All he said is that I don't think you should be renting your house from the government. And then we ran with it and was like, us who own houses are like, yeah, that's great. People who don't own houses don't give a shit because they like, man, I'm just paying my rent or whatever. So what the hell do I care?
No, but it does affect people that pay rent too, though. It does affect renters too.
And that's what I'm saying. And
it's supporting you.
I would make an argument, Venkat. I would make an argument that it's a bigger impact on renters. That's just a fact. Because we looking at overlying costs of a myriad of other things.
It will be.
If they do and this, like I said, you're I gonna don't want to see people. downplay. Huh? Go ahead, Mike.
I said, if you see this, you're gonna see people living like college again. You're gonna see 8 families in one house. You're gonna see everybody bundle up just to pay one place, and the housing bubble will crash from that because people will have all these houses, all these what do you call them, the Airbnbs or whatever, and they're gonna be like, oh, I got to make the property tax. I mean, there's no property tax, so I can put them out, whatever. Everything's gonna crash, bro. You can't. I don't know how to explain it better. You
I would
cannot
agree
have.
families should be doing that regardless.
That's insane. And you love to say that we don't care about people who have houses. Yo, our families have houses too. You think I don't care about that? My mama got a house. My stepdaddy got a house. I care about people who got houses.
And at one point, listen, I'm gonna tell you, and I'm not trying to sound any way about this. I never was around a person that was like, oh my God, is make or break that they went up 1.5% on the sales tax. So you saved that with somebody else.
You capping, sir. You've been getting money. You've been getting money for too long.
Hey, I've never been around. Listen, I've been broke a lot longer than I had a couple dollars. Let's
no,
not,
sir. You've been getting good money since you were 18, and ever since then you've been elitist.
I noticed every time the sales tax
go there, but. What I'm saying, so okay, so what's the solution then? Because everybody like, oh no, you can't get rid of property tax, which I never said. I never said get rid of property tax.
I never said you said it.
I said let's shorten it and put a. I was saying 10%. I don't know where it is 12 and all this other stuff came from.
It's because it could go up double or triple. It can.
But Venkat, when I said
back low.
When I went, so to hell with me saying how much money the Florida lottery contributes to education, and to hell with how much that the state tax, it's actually on the Florida legislative books that the sales tax pays the firefighters and the policemen. So to hell with that, right?
No, not at all. But I think that they want to diversify their funds. So they want it from the Florida lottery. They want it from your income tax. They want it from your state tax. They want it from any tax you can get, the government in general.
Let me say this, and I'm going to get the hell out of the way. The last time DeSantis had a wonderful, great idea, it was to get rid of immigrants, to get them off. And you saw what that did. It almost crippled our planting, whatever that, I can't even think of the word. They would get rid of the immigrants. We don't need them. And all the people were begging to come back.
The next day.
They were begging to come back next. They were begging them to come back next day. DeSantis does not think deep. He thinks surface level. America is not a one surface thing. If you take something from over here, you have to feel it from over here, which is going to affect over here. That's how it works. I'm not listening to a man that can't think that would think that getting rid of immigrants is a good move. Getting rid of property taxes it's the same thing. You're making a big move in the sector without knowing what's going to happen in the future. That they haven't even done. Think about it. A guy said it on Reddit and he was like, "Good idea. Let's put it into policy." What the hell? If I told you right now, somebody called Pat Riley from a taxi and was like, "Oh man, you got to sign Jimmy Butler back," and Pat Riley was like, "Yeah, let's get Jimmy back," you would tell me he was out of his damn old mind.
So
why the hell are we listening?
I'm gonna tell you a story about. I'm gonna tell you a story about that in the group later, since you think that's so far fetched. But Big Lando did make up a good. Damn, I missed it. I saw it earlier.
He said, "Get rid of income tax, get rid of sales tax, and get rid of income tax."
Yeah,
and increase sales tax.
Hey, I would love to actually be able to bring my gross home, but damn, it made me forget what I was going to say. Fuck, Mike. Damn it. All right, man, go ahead. I forgot what the hell I was going to say.
I shut up. Hell, at least y'all ain't got no state income tax. I would love to bring my gross home too. But hell, I'm paying state. I'm paying federal.
So Georgia has state tax?
Yeah.
What's the percentage?
Shit, I believe it's 3. I gotta look at a check stub. I don't pay attention to it. I see the number and I see a chunk coming out of my ass. That's all I know. It's a chunk.
You know what? I think it'll happen because the Reds got the state. But when it happens, I just want you to remember this conversation, Trev. When it happens and then you see the bottom fall out, remember this, because there's nothing they do that doesn't hurt people. I mean it. There's nothing they do that doesn't hurt. Look at that with weaker local governments. Oh, didn't I say that?
I know what I was going to say, Mike. So you bring up
it's 5.39, Trevor.
Woo, that's a lot. You bring up the immigrants. Hey, based on earlier conversations, there's some Black Americans that feel like the immigrants are causing them to be in the situation that they're in. But that's just
now. See, Trail, you talking about Venkat? You just moved
I'm
the
not gonna do
goalpost,
it.
man.
Hey, no,
You just moved
Mike.
the
No,
goalpost.
Mike knows why I said that. Mike knows why I said
about
that.
UMD.
That wasn't to get no argument with you. That was not to get
No.
argument
I ain't
with
look
you.
at it as no argument.
Mike know
back down.
exactly why I said that.
That wasn't the UMD.
I got you.
I've been fighting with y'all for 2 days straight, man. I'm done. I'm tired.
Yo, what I told you about that y'all word.
I'm tired.
It ain't got nothing to do with me.
Oh, I thought you was gonna pull the link up, Venkat. You took a screenshot.
Put it back up, Venkat. Oh, he probably can. He probably on
because I wanted you to scroll down and look at that percentage of what. Now this is according to the article. I can't refute what Trevor said.
I'm gonna pull it up in a different screen.
Yeah, I think Venkat on his phone.
Yeah.
Yo, something wrong with Kevin.
Now again, I can't refute what Trevor said about the percentage of property tax with schools. According to this article, it said that property tax goes for 73% of school districts in Florida. That's what the article said. That's what the article said.
Hold on, let me share the screen. I'm gonna bring it up. Present, share screen. Make sure I ain't got none of my.
I already got it.
I see it.
Oh, you got the link up?
Yeah.
That boy fast.
Make it bigger.
That's what she said.
Hold on.
How's for you, twin?
All right, there you go.
Okay.
Read, brother, read.
I can't see that.
My bad. I was on mute. My bad. I just wanted to go to that point. It says property taxes make up about 73% of school district revenue, according to the report. Now again, you're gonna have to take it up with whoever this is on this article. So I'm just going off of the data that I was presenting.
And where's this from?
Scroll up, Venkat. Let's see what this source is. I seen something say NPR. Oh, yes, that's NPR News, a reputable source.
Reputable, all the syllables.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying. You said you got yours from the tax code. Hey, I can't argue that. I can't do it.
That's 2 times Trevor got burned by articles this week.
Well, I'll be damned.
Wait, what was the first one?
When I got you with the cold thing, talk about you dying in 10 minutes.
Man, don't even bring that. Y'all, don't even bring that up because you
had you on the grill.
Because you died epically on that hill.
You the only one that think that. Everybody else in the argument knew I won.
I mean, because everybody hey, in case you haven't realized, the cool thing to do is disagree with whatever I say.
That's not true. I agree with you on a lot of things.
Listen,
there go Trevor.
Listen, did you hear how the beginning of this show started?
There go Trevor.
I'm celebrating my daughter.
Hey, you better be careful, Trey. You're gonna get banned again.
When I'm on here. You see how me and Wayne been arguing for the past 2 days? That's the formula.
Well, Trevor's the lightning rod. He's
man,
the,
if you don't get out of here,
he's the needle mover.
Me I'm wrong.
He's the needle mover.
Towing the line, man. You're gonna get banned again.
Everybody loves telling me I'm wrong. I'm the person that everybody likes to disagree with. You know what their favorite line is? Man, he's right, but no, ain't no but. I'm right. Yeah, but there's a little piece that I want to disagree with, so I don't have to say he's right. I get that all day long. You coming in a far second, sir.
Ricardo, anything you wanted to add to the conversation on that? Because I don't think Ricardo got to speak yet.
No, it's a very, very, very in-depth conversation. Yeah, there's quite a. It's one of those things because it goes back to MTM on Monday when I heard and it came off. I don't know if and I love my brother Wayne, but it came off very elitist when he was like, he said something to the effect of homelessness is something that it's like a mental illness or something like that. It comes down to the way every day, like the average Joe, like how they usually will go. The average Joe in this day and age, in this state, I'm only going to use Florida for an example because we live here.
Hey Ricardo, can I just butt in one moment? I just want to. So I pulled this right off of the county, and I can't say my county on here because there's people that really don't like me. But let me read this because again, this comes directly from the school board thing. If a person with $100,000 taxable valuation on their property tax would pay $613.83 in property tax for in school board tax. So that's not 73%. Go ahead, Ricardo.
73% of the totality of the school districts in Florida.
Trevor, yo, you are the worst. You are the worst mathematician on the show. Come here, Trevor. Give me a hug, bro. Give your brother a hug. You losing ceremoniously.
Oh my God, Mike, you're making it worse.
That's my job. My job is to make Trevor been trying to get Trevor trying to take my spot. I am the person who is marginalized and hated. He's trying to take my slot. Go ahead, twin. Talk your stuff, twin.
Thank you. If I can't say that in the corner.
I have a panic attack.
But yeah, no, I was trying to get. So yeah, in terms of the whole thing with the state of Florida, I think if there's any solution. Okay, so we don't get rid of the sales tax or whatever the tax is. In order to combat homelessness and everything else, there's a plethora of things that we can tax instead. We have a huge influx of snowbirds that come down here every year. We don't pay certain, we don't pay a state tax, I believe. So why not tax them? You have countless amount of cruise ships that depart and embark every day from the ports. Why don't you tax the cruise ships, the companies that basically have the flags flying for other countries? So basically they're getting away with murder for paying taxes to flying a flag for a country. If you know about how cruise ships operate. There's other plus, and then you add into the factor of the lottery. The Florida lottery makes billions of dollars. Need I remind you guys how much money they accrued last year? Like they made close to $1 trillion. So the whole idea of the education system getting funding from lottery is one thing. Trump brought up something today which was very funny to me even here. Thank you, MD, for bringing that up in terms of posting the link, where he goes, but in Europe, there's certain countries like Finland and Denmark, and mind you, these are all the white-centric European countries that he's mentioning. Their education and their system is getting up there while we're falling behind. You know why that is? Because education is not free here. Those countries like Norway, Denmark, Finland, the UK, their education system is free for people up to like the age of 18. From there on, then it's like you have to pay from your own pockets. So when Kevin is going in the chat, but then he brought up a point, like you're bringing up a whole bunch of stuff, Kevin. I get what you're saying, but there are certain increments or certain factors that there's causality is what Mike is saying. When you take away one thing, the other thing is going to be affected. So that's the same thing. You eliminate people paying for tuition and all of that stuff here, you will see, and I'm not saying, because there's always going to be that one person that goes, but that doesn't mean education is going to be like way better. But it will prove my point that it will drive the factor home that people will do well in education. That's one thing I wanted to knock out the park for Kevin there, because I grew up in Canada, so that's socialism is bad here. So that I wanted to bring that point home, because Canada does well with that. There's a reason why there's certain things that work in certain countries, it doesn't work here. But again, I digress, because it's the richest country in the world and capitalism rule. There's a plethora of things that we could tax. I don't know where else we could tax in terms of other than the cruise ships, the snowbirds, the people that come in and out of this state every now and then. I'm using Florida only as an example because I live here. There's the cruise ships. You could tax the airlines. You could tax a plethora of things. Again, it's still going to affect the bottom line for the average person that wants to buy a home, who is actually in a home now, that's getting taxed on the ass. It's driving home the point that I think Trevor's trying to make here. At some point in time, we got to acknowledge the fact that people are literally like drowning in the fact that they can't get nothing to bring home. At some point, we're literally paying taxes everywhere. So if you get rid of one thing, I get it, and Mike, you have a good point. If you get rid of that, then what is the counteraction of what they're getting rid of? Because then it's like, okay, so we're gonna get, bitten on the other cheek. So there's plethora of stuff that we could look into. And yes, I do believe DeSantis have a short-sighted mind, but then again, he has to, because I believe he's gonna be leaving soon, and then he has to either put his wife into the race or somebody has to continue the legacy of what he has or what he took away or whatever it was. But I'm just saying all of that to say, at some point in time, there's other things that we could look into in terms of taxing. That if tomorrow comes and they get rid of that one tax that they're referring to, because it's just him throwing it out there. Again, it's just for the election and to get people talking, because it's coming around the corner and people are jumping into the race to boost numbers and get high ratings. But if you get rid of that, you could tax Airbnbs, you could tax a whole bunch of stuff. But one of the things that I wanted to point out today, because I brought up an article, and not to digress, but in the county that we live in, I'm not going to say the county, but one county alone in the state of Florida, and South Florida at that, has an inventory of over 18,000 houses put on the market. And every day, the prices are going up. What you're literally saying here is that in the state of Florida, there's a bubble going on right now. At some point in time, it's going to crash. The state is literally in that moment of a housing crisis crash that is going to be catastrophic for the entire economy. As for why nobody's talking about that, I will never know. But he does bring up a point, because I'm saying to myself, there's that huge influx of houses here, but nobody's buying them. So what is going on here? When you have all these insurance companies leaving, it's skyrocketing high in terms of the weather, the storms that we had last year, and we're heading to another hurricane season. There's a whole barrage of things here that we need to be concerned about, but then we're talking about eliminating a tax, but then there's other things that are at play. It's crazy. But I get Trevor's point. We're getting taxed left, right, and center. There's homelessness that's going up high. It's 18%. And it's not a mental illness, Wayne. I want to point that out to you. It's literally almost everyone that I've spoken to can't even afford to pay not only their rent, but their mortgage, but everything else. So then you have to factor in paying for the essentials of food, paying for, bringing your kids to school, paying for gas. God forbid the price of gas go up. Then we have eggs to worry about. Then God forbid the tissue issue, where people are going to start buying tissues for no damn reason. There's a whole influx of issues that we're encountering. But if we get rid of that, what are we going to counteract that with? I don't know, but we have to come up with something, because people are drowning every single day here. So that's the problem that we have to look at the periphery of. As for what tax we could come up with, what tax we can't come up with, we could throw everything on the table. Something has to give somewhere, because people are literally drowning, and we're feeling like at some point we're not bringing anything home. So you're just paying. What do you have to bring home to your pockets? And why is the top 10% not paying their share? Oh, I forgot. Trump said that, his friends and the coonies that he took up when he passed that tax law in the years that I'm still chiming about to this very day, said, oh no, but I'm rich. I should be able to bring home something. But yeah, what about the people at the bottom? So you see, you're stifling them still at the bottom, and you're uber rich. How much more money do you want? I digress. MD says we're in a capitalistic country, and we're capitalism rules. So I go by that. Get me.
Well, again, I do understand the part of capitalism, but we're not in a true capitalistic country. I mean, we all know that.
We are not.
So let me say one last thing. So y'all ain't got state income tax.
Nope.
Y'all tax the hell out of alcohol and cigarettes and stuff like y'all tax the hell out of it.
Facts.
If I was still a smoker, I would not buy no pack of cigarettes in Florida. That's a fact. You know what I'm saying? So y'all do understand that there's a need to facilitate a counterbalance. That's obvious because of the other stuff that y'all tax like real high. Property taxes, I believe in that same report, it said property taxes are the highest in Florida, even beating out California. So, to the original premise, damned if you do, damned if you don't, from a state standpoint. Now, if I put back on my progressive leftist hat, I would make an argument, and I think Venkat probably would agree with me. Maybe we shouldn't be looking at, especially when it pertains to stuff like education, maybe we shouldn't be looking at it from a state level and solely put the onus on federal funding. There would be an argument to be had to say no income tax at that point, because it wouldn't be a state issue. But hey, that's it. Let me go back to the right. I'm going too far left. Let me go back to the right.
A PPAM. I just want to make you one last thing on the same article that you did, because you didn't read the next line, and you got me on because I can't find anything to dispute the school board percentage, but you see how I could just be like, yeah, you got me. The thing you didn't read though is that only 17%, 17% of that property tax of the county, the county only takes 18%. Let me read it, man. I'm getting all flustered and shit.
Yeah, it was talking about the services, but again, we're not.
Now, hold on,
talking from municipality. We're talking from a state
property
level.
tax. Property tax makes up only 18% of county revenue. So again, you never heard me say get rid of property tax. I never said that. I said lower it, and then we could spread the money. You could spread the money out. It's just like a bad NFL contract. I mean, you give them more on the back end, and you get the extra years or something. You figure it out. That's why they in law. They should be able to do it.
Yo, I saw Trevor's face the whole time. I knew he was looking something up. He's like, I'm gonna find me a piece to be right. I ain't gonna be 100% right. I'm gonna be at least 93. Go ahead, Trev. I'm with you, bro.
No, I don't want to hear that. Oh, hey, let me tell you real quick though, because you were saying, oh, what if somebody called Pat Riley? Fun fact: this happened in when Shaquille O'Neal got traded, and I was listening to Dan Le Batard. Dan Le Batard used to have little meet and greets at restaurants, and a guy called his show and was like, "Hey, I just got word from one of my friends that Shaquille O'Neal is going to be traded to the Miami Heat. I'm the guy that was at the event last night wearing the Dare shirt," and everybody laughed at him. And sure as shit stinks, the next day the trade went down. So it ain't too far-fetched.
It is far-fetched. That's a man who got information, not a man who's influencing Pat Riley. So you see the difference? He didn't influence Pat Riley to get Shaq. He just heard that Pat Riley got Shaq. There's a total difference, my brother. But I still support you today. I ride with you. Today is Trevor Day. After my daughter.
Look at Ricardo's comment.
Mike, you be making it worse.
Ricardo's comment. And again, that goes back to my point. If you get rid of certain aspects of valuation of a home, the house is going to devalue. Some people might think that's a good thing. Some people might think it's a bad thing. I don't think Trevor wants his house to be devalued, but that's what's going to happen if they get rid of property tax. Because there's not going to.
I couldn't sell it anyway for what nobody would buy it for what it's worth now anyway.
Well, I mean that all depends on like the future of your neighborhood. Hell, a lot of black people said that until they got gentrified out. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. But again, property taxes is a baseline of a reflection of valuation. If you get rid of that, your house is going to devalue instantly. So, just take it for what it's worth.
See, that's when I stop talking. Whenever they start like saying words, the big words, and they just put like in the middle, like the evaluation of the cosmopolitanization of the bottom. I'd be like, all right, bro, this ain't class, bro. That's why I just let Ricardo and Venkat and MD talk, and I just sit in the background.
Hey, why aren't you reading any of Kevin's messages?
Because Kevin, I can destroy anything Kevin does. I will destroy him.
Now he was right on that one comment that was up about the entertainment. That's another thing y'all got to take into consideration. Y'all are a tourist state. Y'all generate billions of dollars of revenue off of that.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it's all about counterbalance.
So MD, with all these revenue streams that you just said, you talk about the cigarettes and the alcohol. You drive down the street from me, it's nothing but Indian the reservations,
casinos
where they sell them cigarettes. Nothing but that. The alcohol, the tourism, all that stuff. You still telling me that you don't think that they could just pull 2% here, 2% there, and then go the other way and help people out?
My brother Trevor,
obviously it's not enough.
My brother
like I said,
Trevor.
you gotta take it into consideration. My bad, Mike.
No, go
Income
ahead.
tax is a huge thing. I just told you our income tax in Georgia is 5.93%. That's a lot. Just think of the money that they generate off of that alone versus all of the stuff that y'all got to do compounded in Florida. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not arguing with the sense of there needs to be something drastically changing. I'm saying is damned if you do, damned if you don't. From a state principle. That's all I'm saying.
You know what they're gonna do?
If this was federal, we wouldn't have to worry about it.
You know what they're gonna do? You know what they're gonna do? Hey, this is gonna sound like totally insane. So y'all can call me whatever you want. I think if they get this through, they're gonna run prices up so high that they're gonna say the state is too big to function as one state, and they're gonna try to chop it up. Make a South Florida, a Southern Florida, and a Northern Florida.
Hell, that's what y'all is already. Y'all
right,
but
they're gonna make it.
And then
it's
the South, which is North Florida.
Yeah,
hey Mike,
they're gonna
is
make
Master
it legal.
Blaster your burner account? Because that's something you would say. I was the one that brought up tax and tourism.
No, I don't have a burner account. If I had a burner account, how would I get all the adoration?
Hey man, shout out to Wanias Israel. Hey man, I'm about to dip because Venkat probably cursing me out because he probably got like 10 more videos he want to play. So I got to go clean my cat's poop box. This was fun.
I can't believe you have a cat, sir. I'm still bugged out at that.
Venkat, you need to do this more often, man. All right, let's get in some arguments, man. I'm all for arguing. It's all good.
As long as it's real. As long as it's real. I don't like fabricated arguments. That's just stupid.
Oh, what's up, Maria?
Everybody say hi to Maria.
Oh, now okay. Now I know why she wanted Kev.
Exactly. And that should have told you it wasn't me. Why the hell would I want Kev?
All right, man. I gotta go take care of this cat litter.
All right, I gotta go finish homework with my girl. Y'all have a good one. Much love to Maria. Much love to my twin. Much love to Tuesday MD, my favorite MD. Much love to Venkat and to our fearless leader with his medium shirt on, Big Dog.
Hey, Venkat, put me on the big screen. I want everybody to see this shirt before I go.
Let's go. That's worth 5.
Hold on, let me. Oh God, how do you? Oh, here we go.
Yo, Trevor's just trying to be canceled. Trevor's just trying to be. He want to be canceled for a week and take a vacation.
Venkat, you don't know how to do it.
I did it before. I haven't done it in a while.
No, hold on. I got it easy.
That's what Kevin said. Click on his avatar.
I did, but it ain't doing that.
Solo layout, right? There you go. Just so everybody see this is why I promote over here, man. Straight and proud. That's what I promote over here. So, hey, man.
Hey, do you have a really a smaller version of that? Because I can wrap that around something and represent. Yeah, y'all got me.
Hey, this show probably gonna get struck. Oh, why the hell they did it that way? This show probably gonna get struck anyway for the Philando Castile video. So whatever. All right, fellas, I'm out of here.
Me too. Y'all go back to being smart and ignore my slow tail.
We always
much love, gentlemen. Much love. MIR is out. Well, MIR number the CEO is out, but I got my MIR the freak off minister. He gonna represent.
All right, Mike. All right, so let's continue on here. So let's take a look at the video here, with some of the failures of Donald Trump and a lot of the conflict that's been going on as of late with these town halls. We'll get the panel's opinions of it on the other end.
Earlier, the president hosting the nation's governors at the White House and calling out Maine for refusing to comply with his executive order banning transgender athletes from women's sports. The president asking if Maine's governor, Janet Mills, was in the room.
2 weeks ago, I signed an executive order banning men from playing in women's sports. Many Democrats are fighting me on that. I hope you continue because you'll never win another race. And it's just crazy. If you look at what happened with the boxing, if you look at what happened with the weightlifting numbers, where a record that hadn't been broken for 19 years got shattered. But, they put up an eighth of an ounce here, an eighth of an ounce there, and it's 218 pounds or whatever was that. And hadn't been broken in 19 years. And then guy walks up who transitioned. He transitioned, and he knocked out that record by about 100 pounds. That would be a record not going to be broken again in a long. So we put a ban on it, and to protect women. I mean, the women, if you watch the Olympics, you had two transitioned people that were fighting in the women's boxing. They have women's boxing category, and if you saw that, it was brutal. What happened to the Italian woman was a really good boxer. After one punch, she said, no more. I've never been hit. It was a left. It was not even it was just a left jab. She got hit so hard, she said, I can't do it. They forced her to go out. No, go out again. You'll do it. Goes out again, gets hit again. No, that's it. She didn't want to die. And it's crazy, but the NCAA has complied immediately, by the way. That's good. But I understand Maine. Is Maine here, the governor of Maine?
Yeah, I'm here.
Are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with the state and federal laws.
We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good, I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor, because I don't think you'll be in elected politics.
One day after President Donald Trump threatened to withhold funding from Maine public schools, the U.S. Department of Agriculture says it will investigate the University of Maine system. There are indications the state is, quote, openly disregarding Trump's executive order keeping men out of women's sports. In the letter, the USDA's general counsel says Trump's executive order enforces equal opportunity through Title IX. As UMaine is a land-grant university, the school gets federal funding from the USDA. The Secretary of Agriculture says any institution that chooses to disregard the president's orders can count on losing future funding. As we reported Friday, President Trump threatened Governor Janet Mills in an exchange between the two yesterday in D.C.
So Dan, this is what I believe. I believe that this administration, in less than 30 days, in the midst of a massive collapse, in particularly a collapse in public opinion. It's going to be easy pickings here in 6 weeks. Just lay back.
So you literally think 30 days to 6 weeks, the Trump administration is effectively going to collapse in terms of public support?
Well, it's collapsing right now. We're in the midst of a collapse. This is the lowest approval, not even close, that any president has ever had at a comparable time. Again, that's a provable fact.
Tyranny is rising in the White House, and a man has declared himself our king. So I would like to know, rather, the people would like to know what you, congressmen, and your fellow congressmen are going to do to rein in the megalomaniac in the White House.
When you talk about tyranny, when you talk about presidential power, I remember having the same discussion with Republicans when Biden was elected. The funny thing is, you're sitting here and a lot of you would probably say those January 6s who are yelling just as loud as you, who are upset just like you, and not listening.
Hey, let's restore some order. Let's restore some order. Hey.
Let's restore some order.
So
Stop
yelling
screaming out.
at me is not going to get any answer, okay?
Hey,
Like I said, we're not going to yell.
point of order.
We're
Hey,
not gonna-
let's get through this, Congressman. Hey,
Yeah. I've seen Game of Thrones too. Thank you. Let's go ahead and move on because if you're not going to listen, to the answer, we might as well not discuss it, right? Do you want to hear the answer? If you'd stop yelling, I will answer. Otherwise, we'll move on. If you would stop talking for a second, I will answer your question. The REINS Act, which reins in executive power for both parties, whoever's in party power, and I think it could be tweaked actually to be much better. I don't think executive privilege should be as strong as it is. I think we're out of balance right now. I think your direct representation, whether you like me or not, I'm the closest thing you have to a representative. Your senator's not going to be as representative as me, and the president's not going to be as representative as me when it comes to you, the people in this district. I don't want to see the president make all the decisions. I don't. I didn't want to see. Do you not want to hear that I just said? I answered it directly. I said, I don't want to see any president be too powerful.
Americans are deeply divided over Trump's first month back in office. About half say that he has overstepped when it comes to using presidential power, and about the same feel that he has gone too far in cutting federal programs.
Tonight, from Georgia to Oregon to Kansas, Americans angry with President Trump's sweeping layoffs and Elon Musk's drive to slash government spending, packing raucous town halls. Republican members of Congress starting to feel the heat.
We are all freaking pissed off about this. You're going to hear it and feel it.
In a district outside Atlanta, Trump won with 62% of the vote. Republican Congressman Rich McCormick getting an earful.
I answered it directly. I said, I don't want to see any president be too powerful.
One voter saying Musk's chainsaw approach to slashing government programs and spending.
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy. Chainsaw!
Is out of step with conservative principles.
I want to say from a conservative perspective, the approach of DOGE is completely 180 degrees. They've been indiscriminate and they've taken a chainsaw to these things. Why is a supposedly conservative party taking such a radical and extremist and sloppy approach to this?
In Colby, Kansas, Congressman Tracy Mann confronted.
Is there anything that Trump and Elon could do that you would not support? I'm sure. Oh, tell me.
The president defends Musk and his mission, which has dominated the first month of his administration. But polls show voters are increasingly concerned about Trump's handling of one of their top issues, inflation, and his campaign pledge to bring down prices on day one.
Starting on day one, we will end inflation. We will end inflation and we will make America affordable again.
A Washington Post Ipsos poll shows 53% of Americans disapprove of how the president is handling the economy. And a new CNN poll shows 62% say Trump has not done enough to bring down prices. Today, I asked the president.
Americans voted for you on the immigration and the economy, but these voters say they're angry and frustrated by these firings. They don't like the work of Elon Musk and these other actions. What do you say to them?
Let me just tell you that I have today the highest poll numbers I've ever had. That's what I was just told. And they like the job that we're doing. They like the job that Elon's doing. He's doing something that a lot of people wouldn't have the courage to do.
And late tonight, the president making good on another threat, firing the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General C.Q. Brown. Brown has come under fire by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, who's accused him of focusing too much on diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. Trump didn't give a reason for removing Brown, simply posting he is a fine gentleman and an outstanding leader. Nominating as his replacement Air Force Lieutenant General Dan Kane, whom Trump has praised for speeding up the defeat of ISIS.
Yeah, Trump didn't give a reason because the reason was he was black. They fired his black ass. All right, MD, what do you think here about this video showing the wild, raucous Republican meetings with their congressmen and with their senators and whatnot? What do you think?
Yeah, so again, I am the PPAM. last Thursday on MD's Thoughtbox Live. If you haven't go check it out, go check it out on my channel, the MD20. I reported on that town hall in Georgia before anybody else. It happened that day. The next day it had went viral. I'm in tune with the news cycle, folks. That's just a fact. All day, every day. I don't look at I don't listen to music. I don't watch no kung fu flick. I'm absorbing news. That's what I do. I have become accustomed to articulating from a certain standpoint what the news is. I just want to put that out there first. Roswell, with me being a citizen of the state of Georgia, Roswell did in fact. Now I don't want to give any misconception. Roswell as a city did go blue. Let me put that out there. But if you look at the entirety of the town hall, which I did, if you look at the entirety of the town hall, these people came from places like Cumming, Georgia, deep red city, Dawsonville. All these people had concerns about what's happening in government right now. They didn't sign up for it. I would make the argument that you don't have a sense of what you signed up for. You just expressed a grievance. That's just me. I.e., you're stupid. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. With that being said, I think it's time. Now this is where I'm a change direction. I think it's time, Venkat and Ricardo, that we stop focusing on the stupidity of these people in these red districts, these red states, these red cities. And there needs to be some type of action, community action, as it pertains to listening to the grievances of these people. That's part of the reason why we're in this situation right now. That goes back to the next part of the clip in this segment, which I know Trevor got a whole thing about, is the transgenderism in the sports. I don't know how many times me and you, I ain't gonna speak for Ricardo because Ricardo got his own conservative perspective. But when it comes to I guess you would say a center right mind like myself and a left mind like yours, Venkat, we agreed on the notion that there shouldn't be any transgender women in women's sports. I mean that's a general consensus.
Yes.
I don't understand why, based on our certain stances, we keep getting a tag as if we don't care about that issue. I don't think that's what it is. I think it's mean. I think it's menial. I think it's nonsensical. Yeah, based on the little amount of people that we're talking about. Trevor might disagree with that. That's fine. But what I'm saying is this is not an issue that the federal government should be getting involved with. It's just not. We should be able to come up with common sense solutions in our own community to deal with it. That's just what it is. This word democracy gets spread around, I think, under false pretenses a lot, but nonetheless it gets spread around. If that's something that you really care about, then let the process of democracy play out in its own particular instance, own particular states, municipalities, whatever the situation may be. It's not an issue pertaining to government. It's not. It was made a federal issue because of gripes of people like Trevor under false pretenses, because to my knowledge, the Democrats, from a federal standpoint, never made a fuss about it. The hype was generated from the Republican Party.
Trump.
I mean, that's just a fact. Do we need to go back to they stand with they, them, we stand for you? That, like, bro, nobody never made a fuss about any of this. I don't believe transgender women should be in women's sport. I do not believe that. But where's the conversation being had in these schools that got it? I haven't seen them. Have you seen them, Venkat?
Nope.
I'm talking about a conversation that's going to be steeped in policy. I haven't seen it. All I seen is a whole folks be bitching and complaining when the situation don't even pertain to them. That's what I saw. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. So from that instance, let's look at a common sense approach in the schools where this is an issue. That's just a fact. Because I'm a believer of civil liberties and rights. I believe that trans women playing in women's sports is a violation of women's rights. Let them speak on that. Or at the very least, if you is going to talk about it on the federal level, articulate it in that fashion. That's all I'm saying. Now we're seeing, going back to the town halls, a slew of other town halls have been exposed with deep red. Now Idaho, I don't see nobody voting Democrat in Idaho. You know what I'm saying? Idaho, they done drugged the woman out the town hall meeting. These supposed to be quote unquote police officers. I didn't see no identification or no police. We got the literal Gestapo violating people's free speech, because that is a violation of free speech. That's just what it is. A town hall is meant for people to express grievances, and you stop somebody to express their grievance because you didn't like it. This is the reality we living in, folks. Not to mention, on a more deeper level, these town halls showed you what just happened yesterday with them voting on reconciliation when it comes to this bill that's about to go down. The town halls were fillers, Venkat and Ricardo. All of the town halls that we saw, all the videos that we saw, they specifically talked about cutting Medicaid. You think they just did that? I'm gonna just throw something out there. They didn't do that. They went in there to see, hey, look, let me get a feel on what the people think when it comes to this very issue. And that was the orders that were put out through Trump and Mike Johnson and the Republican legislature. That's just a fact. So we living in unprecedented times, folks. Unprecedented times. And I'll just leave it at that.
All right, thanks, MD. Ricardo, what are your thoughts here about these wild town halls and all this stuff and controversy that Donald Trump continuously seems to have every week?
Yeah, the town halls are a necessary format that is needed to get the general public's point across. The one that I saw about the Georgia guy that I think MD brought to our attention, they really did let him have it, but I'm still amazed that these people are riled up now when they should have been riled up the whole time. When people were given the forewarning about what would be the precursor of what was to come, a lot of people were so galvanized and they were so interested in being a tribe and being in the whole buildup of, oh, we're rooting for this guy. This is reminiscent of the idiot teacher that we saw in the news article we saw a while back in Kentucky, when the news reporter asked her, okay, so you voted for Donald Trump, so he did literally told you he was going to be cutting a lot of school programs and whatnot, and you still voted for him anyway? Yeah, because I don't believe he's going to do it. You're that naive to think that he wasn't going to do it when he literally told you, he's going to do it. Like, I don't understand the logic behind some of these morons and these idiots that are now coming out in the woodrows crying, woe is me. Like, he literally told you this is what he was going to do. So why are you guys all surprised? I'm so confused by the whole narrative of all of this. But again, I don't, I can't. Like, I cannot. I literally just cannot do this. But to go back to your point, MD, the whole thing with the you're right, and we can all say everybody in this panel is not for the transgender people or in the alphabet community participated in women's sports. We're so dead set against that. It's just not, it's not a thing. Is it a huge factor? Not in the grand scheme of things. Should the government interject? I question mark it, because even though it doesn't really seem like it's in the news cycle a lot for where you're at, MD, it happened twice here, because there's a school that's close to me that had an issue where there was this transgendered person that decided to participate in a girls' sport, and it was on account of I think the mother was a coach or something in the school, and she was able to get in, and he or she was trying to use the catalyst of, oh, I know this is that and whatnot, and they literally kicked the principal out, because it was like, okay, why are you even allowing that person to participate when you know it's an unfair advantage? And I think it went to the state, as you know, it's DeSantis, it's a red state, so obviously DeSantis pulled a whole bunch of things. There's a whole bunch of things there. I'm gonna have to bring it up. I'm surprised you didn't remember this, Venkat. I'm gonna have to bring it up. But yeah, there was a number two of things, and there was a soccer team. There's a whole bunch of stuff I remember. But to add to your point, MD, should the government step in when it's necessary to? I think the government needs to step in at certain points when all right, at this point in time, you're just doing too much. Like, at this point, we need y'all to be like, all right, do we need to spell it out in layman terms for you to understand this is an unfair advantage? Because that's the issue. And I believe that same soccer team that I'm referring to was the group of girls that showed up at that signing for Trump when he had that whole thing, I think, last week. It was a huge thing. I remember that one thing, but not to go off topic. I just wanted to say, in terms of these town halls and whatnot, it's funny to me that one lady was right. People voted, for the members of Congress or the people in their constituents to go about and do their jobs. This is why we literally have an election. If that's the case, then there's no point in us having an election, because it's pointless. When you go and you represent the people of your constituents and of your area or of your state or of your local municipality or whatnot, your job is to go up there. It's not to literally sit there and parade yourself and be like, oh, I'm not going to speak up and say, you speaking on behalf of the people that voted for you. So him doing all that speech and whatnot doesn't really necessarily help in the case of them being so heated. But then again, he does have a point. He literally told them, I'm not for, the executive branch having so much power, but then this is where we're at. He has a lot of power. And my thing is, with the power that he's having, he has another moron on his side that's literally doing a whole bunch of talking when nobody voted for him in. So the question of the day is, why is people answering to Elon Musk when the people did not put him there? So this is a huge question mark that everybody has as for why this man is still going on and speaking about he's in charge of Doge or whatever you want to call it. Nobody put you there. It's not like the members of Congress or the House of Representatives put you there, sir. The president put you there, but that's not answering for the people. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's going against conservative principles here that's literally should be a cause for concern for those morons that literally voted this man in. And this is the thing that we've been seeing from day one. When it came to this election, most people did not do their homework. They just galvanized for the sake of galvanizing because, we needed to put Trump back in to prove a point. Well, he's back now into the circuit, and y'all are complaining about what? You guys, you got what you get. You literally voted for the man that literally told you what he was going to be doing when he came in. As for him going on and on about him going to curb inflation and all that, I doubt it. And I've said this like a week ago and 2 weeks ago. Inflation was what literally took Biden out, other than the fact that the Democratic Party was lying about his depleting health and mental state, which is a whole other topic for conversation for another day, and the whole ageism factor. But at the same length and breath, inflation is what's going to get this man. The whole fanfare of the 100 days is literally almost over at this point. I think the American people are now going to begin to see and realize that there's a lot of things here that are not making sense. You're literally going on and on about you're going to end inflation. You can never end it, sir, because you're now creating tariffs with other countries, which is going to create a counter reaction to. So I don't understand why people are being surprised at all of this. If he brings up tariffs on certain countries, what's going to happen and follow suit. The price of cans are going to go up. The price of cars are going to go up. The price of steel is going to go up. Everything else goes up because it's cause and effect. So this whole foolishness of what he was going on and on about in this whole, weird little cabinet session thing that he did today where only Elon Musk spoke and Marco Rubio looked so damn uncomfortable that it literally made me cringe. And then you had that one guy that's talking about accountability when he's an alleged rapist. It was so bizarre and weird. And then you had only certain media circuits in the room. And people, I need y'all to wake up and smell the roses and coffee here. Like, I don't know how much more we could have told you this was what was coming. It's here. So now you have the choice of making, the decision for the midterms coming up. Or if y'all want to put more pressure, call your local representatives and tell them more, or do more town halls and see how that brings about any kind of change, or do a free all march in Washington. I don't care what y'all do, but y'all created this issue. Try to fix it yourselves, because there's nothing we can do at this point. And for my black folks that are out there, sit this one out. This is not for none of y'all to complain about, but MD does bring a point. A lot of people are going to be affected when it comes to the SNAP, because they did attack SNAP, and a lot of people are on SNAP. I think it's 19 million people in this country use SNAP or WIC and all of that stuff. It's going to be affected. Medicare is slowly, being depleted, and no one's talking about it because we're being confused and being drawn into the circus. Remember, in Rome, in ancient times, what they used to use as distractions, circuses. All this nonsense that make no sense is literally used as a distraction to get you guys paying attention to that and not paying attention to what's going on in front of you. Please pay attention, do y'all homework, because this is very important. It's coming up to that brim point where SNAP is going to be gone, Medicare is being affected, and the MD does have a point there too, where they're testing the waters to see how people feel. Again, when it comes to like old folks that are in their 70s, 80s, and 90s, Social Security and all of that, they're not going to stand for that crap. They've worked too hard to put themselves into the system to then be told, oh no, old dude or old woman, you can't get your Social Security. Are you crazy? That could never fly. I'm just still waiting to see what they're going to do with the healthcare, because that was being attacked too, and no one's talking about it. So we'll see what happens. What's the alternative? Remember, he said he has a whole barrage of alternatives. We've yet to hear them. So I'm confused with the whole narrative here of, oh my God, we're going to shout from the rooftop and complain to our people. Y'all had ample time to do all of that. So what's happening now is no surprise to me, MD, or Venkat, but it's a surprise to y'all. As for why, I'm not quite sure. But let's see what happens. I have my popcorn. It's already buttered. We're here, y'all. We're here.
All right, Ricardo. Now it's time to go into session. Now it's time for the lame duck session. We'll be on the other end for this week's duck. Lame duck style.
First things first, in this lame duck session.
For the United Nations General Assembly to share the extraordinary progress we've made. In less than 2 years, my administration has accomplished more than almost any administration in the history of our country. America's so true. Didn't expect that reaction, but that's okay.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
You're trying your best, but it never feels like enough.
I started having second thoughts almost the moment I sat down on the plane.
Lights off! Off! Turn them off. They're too bright. Turn them off. Turn them off. Let's go. Ready? Turn
We go back a long way. She was 12, I was 30, but anyway.
So I changed my return flight and flew back on the first available flight I could take.
I'm sick and tired of smart guys.
I'm sick and tired of ordinary people being fleeced.
I'm tired of being quiet.
Yeah, I'm sick and tired. I'm just sick and tired. We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. With great power comes great responsibility.
These lights are so bright in my eyes that I can't see too many people out there. But I can only see the black ones. I can't see any white ones, you see? That's how far I've come. That's how far I've come. That's a long way, isn't it? These eyes. You want to see a bird graveyard? You just go. Take a look. A bird graveyard? Go under a windmill someday. You'll see more birds than you've ever seen ever in your life.
First things first. MAGA supporting farmers are whining that the USAID is withholding funds for farmers for conservation programs. The farmers are learning that their conservation payments are frozen because those contracts were funded through the Inflation Reduction Act. You know that thing that they hated that Biden got passed? Oh, but y'all benefited from that, huh? Skylar Holden is a cattle producer in eastern Missouri. You know, the state that voted for Donald Trump over Vice President Kamala Harris. He shared his story.
I need your help to save my farm and many other farms. Wanted to give you guys an update on what we figured out with our contract through NRCS. So to give you some backstory, if you haven't watched the previous video, please go out, watch that previous video I've got on there. We are possibly going to lose our farm if NRCS doesn't hold up their contract with us on the EQIP program. So the reason that they're not able to hold up the contract is our EQIP program, which is cost sharing on fences, waters, a well, and some seedings, was funded by the Inflation Reduction Act. Because of the executive orders, there's a pause or a freeze on the funding through the Inflation Reduction Act, and they're not able to pay out on the stuff that we completed or anything going forward. But the issue I have is I've already done a bunch of the work, already paid for the material, already paid for the labor, so I'm out all that cost, and I use my farm operating expenses in order to do those projects, because per contract I knew that I was going to get cost sharing refunds on the stuff once completed, but now that it's completed, they're saying that they're unable to provide the funds because of the freeze on the Inflation Reduction Act funds. So I reached out to a couple different senators and Congress people. So I reached out to Ann Wagner's office. I have not heard back from them. I reached out to Josh Hawley's office. I have heard back from him, not from him personally, but from his office, and they are looking into it because they said that this should not be happening. The intention was not to take away the funding from the farmers, but doing the Inflation Reduction Act, cutting those costs, then it's also taken away from the programs that those programs helped out. So it's in the works, but what I need from you guys is if you could please share this, tag your representatives, tag your senators. I need to get some ground on this because I'm not the only one this is affecting. So there are other farmers in the comments saying that they're in the same boat that I'm in because they signed these contracts, and the contracts, so whenever I looked into the contract, I made sure that that funding was set aside. It wasn't funding that, oh, we hope it's there whenever it's done. I made sure that that funding was set aside so that way before I made these business decisions, I knew that funding was there per contract. So they're backing out on the contract because they don't have the funding. They can't release the funds. So please tag the representatives. Please tag the senators. I need to get some ground on this. We need to help me and other farmers out. We've got to get this funding paid out. I don't care if they don't do it in the future. The problem is there was contracts in place. Multiple farms made business decisions, and multiple farms are going to sink if we don't get traction on this and get those funds unfrozen.
You're wrong for that, Roland.
I'm just broken apart that, he did all of this work and he's not getting his money. And I'm just torn apart that, he called his senator, Josh Hawley, to help him out of this. These are the people who voted for and against the Inflation Reduction Act. All Democrats voted for it. All Republicans voted against it. And if I go down here over to the H's, what will you see? Right there, Hawley, Republican, Missouri, voted no. So the person you're crying to didn't vote for the very program that's funding you right now. This is what happens when y'all F around and find out.
But did y'all see the video of that young farmer, Skylar, who voted for Trump and now is in danger of losing his family farm because Trump is going to enact the policies that he promised to enact? And Skylar and his family farm are getting screwed in the process. If you haven't seen it, he's made a few videos because he got pretty defensive when folks in the comments on his first video were like, fuck around and find out. Oh, isn't this what you voted for? Did you not research the candidate and his policies before you decided to vote for him? I believe for the third time. This is the third time he's voted for Trump.
Serve any help? I hope you lose your farm. How much you selling it for? All those comments. That's super helpful. You think that you're not helping, you think that it's funny, but you commenting boosts the post, and I'm getting more views, therefore it is helping me.
Is it saving your farm?
It's kind of a double-edged sword there. You think you're getting your point across, but in reality, you're actually helping me. But
really,
I wanted to start off by saying I did vote for Donald Trump.
3 times.
Just because I voted for Donald Trump doesn't mean I believe in everything that he stands for. And that everybody has to understand that. Just because you vote one way doesn't mean you agree with everything that that party stands for.
Now, I'm a big proponent of supporting small family farms, supporting local sustainable agriculture. But son, I am struggling to have sympathy for you, a cishet white dude who owns a farm in Missouri, for voting for Donald Trump. You are the demographic that deserves to feel the pinch, deserves to feel the consequences of your actions. Now, you said in the comments of your video that you were too busy to really dig into all of Trump's plans. You didn't have the time to research. But I'm sorry, you are a grown-ass man. You are a whole adult, and it is incumbent upon you to do due diligence and do research before you decide to vote for a candidate. You don't get to play, oh, poor little me, I was ignorant, I didn't know what I was voting for. You don't get to play that game. You are a grown-up. You own a farm, and you couldn't bother to read the section on agriculture in Project 2025? I cover sustainable agriculture for my business, but I don't have a farm, and I had the time to read up on it. I made it a priority. It's wild to me that you as a farmer did not. And now you want to say, this isn't my fault, guys, I just didn't know. No, what you thought is the parts of Trump's platform of Project 2025 that you liked, like deporting brown people, like removing women's access to reproductive health care, like taking away free and reduced lunch for poor kids, restricting Medicaid, food stamps, WIC. You honed in on all the things on Trump's platform that were going to get you what you wanted, but you didn't even bother. You were too busy to do the due diligence of reading through the parts of his policies. Project 2025 has been published on the internet for a long time now. I should probably read what's in this document about ag. Should maybe investigate before I decide to vote for this man for president. I should probably investigate if his policies might have a negative impact on my farm. But you didn't. And now you're crying on the internet about it. This was all there out in the open for you to read before the election, but you chose not to. You chose not to, and that is on you, a grown-up. It's like who you vote for has consequences, not just for the immigrants in your community, but also for you and your business. Just like last time he was in office, it was not good. But this is a great time for you and other white dudes around the country to introspect and figure out why it is that you wanted to support Trump more than you wanted to protect your own business. Why is it that you were so easily convinced to vote for him against your own best interest? Do folks in America not realize that food stamps and WIC and other programs like that for needy families, for hungry people, that those are actually USDA agricultural subsidies? And so when farmers vote against handouts, when conservative Republican farmers voted for Donald Trump, voted for gutting these programs and love to judge hungry folks, call them welfare queens with how they love to rage against socialism, that those folks are shooting themselves in the foot because in wanting to do away with or cut back these programs, they are ensuring that the subsidies that keep their farms going, those go away. We are watching America's farmers in the heartland start to wake up to the reality that their support of Donald Trump might cost them their farms. I'm frankly surprised they don't remember all of the farmers who went out of business during the first Trump administration. It was a lot. Soybean farmers especially. I'm going to keep ranting about this subject today because I didn't know how many people were like, this is the first I have heard of this, or come to understand that all of these welfare programs are really ag subsidies. And America's farmers are now incredibly conservative by and large. And the way they just voted in this election, despite the fact that so many of us were screaming at them like this is going to hurt your farm, they didn't believe it. And now they're waking up, they're finding out. And I think it's so crucial as we're having this conversation about the ways that this regime is harming every working class American to gain some awareness of how all of these programs are interconnected and organized and designed to benefit working class folks all over the place. They are connected so that when farmers over here benefit, hungry people over here get fed. And that all of these programs that Musk and Trump are cutting are for one thing, and that is for tax cuts for billionaires. Men who have more money than they can spend in 10 lifetimes. It's not a time to be defensive. It's a time to say, shit, I done fucked up. This is not good for me and my family. It's not going to be good for my community of farmers. It's not going to be good for the country.
Will I feel sorry if he loses his farm? No, I won't. These are the people who constantly vote against their economic interest, and then they whine and complain, oh my God, I can't believe this. These are the idiots who go, I can't stand Obamacare, but please don't take my Affordable Care Act.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, son. There he is. There he is. That's him right there. Put the spotlight on this big tub of lard. This jackass who needed to troll and vote against his own interests to feel good about his lowly self. We talking about lame duck, number 72 variety. Skylar Holden. This bitch ass nigga here went ahead and put his face up Trump's ass, and now he has a whole mess on his face. We talking about the trash bag human of the week. MD, what do you think about this piece of trash, Skylar Holden?
Yeah, man. It goes back to the notion that, the consensus of what we view Trump voters as is very, very low on the intellectual scale. That's just what it is. If you need an example, look no further than this. But again, I'm starting to feel like that may not be the right move. Now, what if, right? Let's just do the hypothetical. What if a person like Kamala Harris would have been able to go to Missouri and talk to young Skylar and let him know, hey, look, this is what it is. I don't give a damn what you think about me, what any of my other social policies. From an economic standpoint, if Trump gets in, this is what's going to happen. I think we would have got a different outcome, Venkat.
I don't think so.
You
I
don't think
think
so?
those people are preset. They're preset to thinking a certain way. Just like in the video, they explain how all these farmers, they're heavy conservative and Republican leaning.
So
It
so what
takes,
you tell?
uh-huh.
No, I was gonna say real quick. So what you're saying is, in a lot of these communities where it is conservatism is the norm, their social leanings supersede everything else. That what you're telling
Right,
me?
right. So they need a moment like this. And even with this moment, they still may not want to reckon with it because there's so much ego and pride involved. So, I mean, again, like with Joe Biden, so much emphasized hate on Joe Biden, and he passed all this stuff that clearly Americans needed desperately.
But
From
that shows you stupidity.
right,
The main reason Republican leaning voters trashed Biden was because of the economy. But then you turn around and tell me that they don't view Trump from a policy standpoint as it pertains to the economy. It's strictly social value. That I don't understand how MAGA maniacs. I don't know how they brain work, man, cat.
there's too much mental gymnastics to tell me that somehow Trump did great on the economy in 2017, 2018, 2019. But in 2020, he has no responsibility for what happened then, even though he created the mess and made it way worse. And then Joe Biden comes in 2021 and everything is on Joe Biden. And he recovered from it. He rolled out the COVID vaccines and all that. That brought all these cases down. People then didn't have to wear masks by 2022 as a mandate, and a lot of the economy moved forward way better, to the point where just this past November, people were actually saying they were better off 4 years ago. 4 years ago puts you right back into 2020. The fact that anybody can regurgitate that nonsense is proof in the pudding that you can't make excuses for these people. The information is there. You can't run away from these facts. Last 10 recessions, 9 out of 10 Republicans caused. It was on a Republican's watch. Since 1989, 51 million jobs. Democrats did 50, Republicans did 1 million. These are things you can't run from. This is it. The economy and the country that you're mad about, remember, 1980, it was Reagan, Republican. 1984, it was Reagan, Republican. 1988, it was George Daddy Bush, Republican. And then when finally a Democrat got in, Bill Clinton, he left office with a surplus. Immediately, W goes in, boom, we get into this whole crap of 9/11 at the beginning of his tenure, in the middle, Katrina, and then at the end, economic collapse. So with all that information, you're not doing any critical thinking. So there's nothing to think about. So to go back to your point, if Kamala would have did this and that, no, it wouldn't have mattered. It never mattered. That's why every time something bad happens to Trump, it's ignored. And when something little happens to a Democrat, whoever it is, it becomes emphasized as the biggest controversy.
I got you. I got you. So in other words, people are stupid.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
So I'll say this last thing. So when we talk about economics, you got the, mainly capitalism. You got two ways looking at capitalism. You got the classical way, which says, hey, look, I ain't gonna say everybody for themselves, but in the terms of lifespan of industries, and it's a natural process. It's the circle of life. You know what I'm saying? If he dies, he dies. You know what I'm saying? That's your classical way of looking at capitalism. Then you got what they call the Keynesian approach, which is the government, when needed, the government pushes money into the economy that facilitates economic growth. The Inflation Reduction Act did just that. In a time where inflation was high, there was a lot of money that was in the economy. There wasn't enough goods and services. In this particular case, the Inflation Reduction Act was used to give subsidies and contracts to these farmers to increase production, to get stuff out, to try to lower inflation. That was the purpose of it. Without the Inflation Reduction Act, we wouldn't even be talking about this person right now. They'll be done for already.
That's true.
Then you turn around, you get the money, all is well with the world. You vote for Trump, thinking somehow it's gonna get better. I don't know how, but somehow it's gonna get better. And now you back into the classical format. If he dies, he dies. Which is plausible now because inflation is not that high. In fact, inflation is almost where it's supposed to be. Now it raised under the BS that Trump did, but from a general sense, we're back into the classical format. There is no safety net for you. That's just what it is. And there shouldn't be a safety net for you. So, hey, RIP is all I gotta say. If it happens, I would tend to say probably not, because once they get ready to pass this budget, we'll see what happens. But it is what it is.
Yep. All right, thank you, MD. Ricardo, what do you think of this tub of lard, Skylar Holden, number 72 variety?
I'm just gonna grab a tissue because this was so sad to hear. These poor Skylar and his farm that his granddaddy and all them peoples that worked so hard to get. Skylar, please. Nobody got time for you and your tears and your galvanizing now. It's too late. I mean, you should have. And again, when we told y'all to do your homework and do your research, none of y'all wanted to do that. Y'all wanted to be a part of this whole fraternity of, we're gonna vote back this man into power for the second time to prove a point. Oh, he proved a point, all right. You're just as bad as those them firefighters that sat there while they were, taking away their what you call it, the other day when they were voting into their state legislation. You guys are just all around horrible, just terrible people. Like, you're voting against your best interest just to be voting for the sake of popularity. And look what's happening. This is crazy to me. What kind of Twilight Zone world are we in? This is nuts. But we cannot feel sorry for you, Skylar. We cannot. I mean, if you lose your farm, it's on your own doing. This is your fault. You don't get up on the internet and start boo-boo crying, and doing the most, talking about we need to go, reach out to your what you call it, state representative and all that, who still voted against what you wanted. So at the end of the day, it still doesn't make any form of sense. And quite frankly, sir, Skylar, did you not realize cause and effect? So when they got rid of, I can't even do it with a straight face, I can't. These people just disgust me all around. And this is the foolishness now that you're seeing, is the voting remorse of it all. When it's too late, like, you had ample time, y'all. Like, this is not a joke. This is not something that you could just go, oh, but I voted by accident, mistake. Can I make can I go back and change it? No. This is what y'all are getting. You're gonna be losing more than farms. You're gonna be losing your rights. You're gonna be losing your benefits and incentives that usually would be getting to y'all. And the privilege that you remember when we keep talking about this white privilege that they have when they're in their bubble. This is what Mike has been talking about this whole time. It's so hilarious to watch them literally get all mad and upset now, and oh my God, it's like, woe is me. Cue the sad violin, no one cares. This is it. The only thing that saddens me now is the folks that get affected, and not to say that not only the folks that get affected by SNAP and the rest of the things that are beneficial, the black farmers as well get affected by this. So it's not only just y'all morons that always get privilege, it's the black farmers that literally get upended in losing everything. So it gets to that point where y'all should have done your research and know what you were voting for. This is it. This is where we're at, y'all. This is not a joke. But well suited for this actual lame duck was Skylar. And Skylar, we don't give a damn. So lose your damn farm and go mop the floor at some, farm somewhere else, and, milk the cow for Daisy Dukes or whatever them people's doing in where you're at. No one gives a damn. But all in all, well suited for this week, because this is just hilarious to watch him grovel and make all this noise and fuss over something that he should have done. You should have done your homework, sir. This is on y'all. This is on you. You don't blame nobody else for you losing the farm except for you. And I'll leave it at that.
This is not fear. I should not be put to them indignancies.
All right, there we go. Number 72, Lame Duck. Down, he goes down in infamy. So we are now at the point where we're going to do our final sign off. So we're going to start with MD. Final sign off, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This was a great episode. I thoroughly enjoyed the first half of the show. It was we need more dialogue like that. That was I like that. That was tight. That was tight. Check me out this tomorrow. Damn, I was about to say I forget it's Wednesday. But check me out tomorrow. MD Stockbox Live. The truth about the state of the world. I think now more than ever we need to look further out because there's some stuff going on that we need to talk about as it pertains to how the world views us, um, possibility of conflict going forward. It's a lot of stuff going on. Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of UK, will be here tomorrow. Supposedly, Zelensky will be here Friday. We'll see how that goes. Zelensky has not confirmed that. It's a lot of confusion going on with this minerals deal and what type of security assurances that we gonna keep in Ukraine. Hey man, it's heavy. What's the EU gonna do? The EU looks like they on a course of just not messing with the United States at all, financially or diplomatically. So we might end up being the pariah of the world here in a few years, folks. That's just what it is. Who would have ever thought the most influential country in the history of the world is now the bad guy? So, say hello to the bad guy. That's what this is. So we're gonna talk about all that. Couple other things. I thought we was gonna get to the Joy Reid thing tonight. I'll get into that tomorrow as well.
Yeah,
But
we're going to have to push it to next week. There's a few items we have to push to next week.
yeah, I'm gonna talk about it tomorrow because I'm gonna get into some things that Joy Reid has said in the past that are troubling. But
Yeah.
is that a reason to just laugh at her on the way out the door? We'll see. We'll see. Is there a whitewashing happening at NBC? I'm gonna talk about that.
Yep.
A lot of black people and quote unquote people of color are getting shown the door at NBC. So we'll talk about that. Couple other stories we'll talk about. I'm gonna talk about that bizarre cabinet press conference that happened today. That was bizarre as it pertains to the Trump gold card. We're gonna talk about
Isn't
that.
that ridiculous? This guy is such a grifter, grifting in the office like hell. He's just making everything about him.
Venkat, he didn't even understand. He came up with this whole Trump gold card and didn't even understand it in the press conference. What Howard Lucknett, the Commerce Secretary, explained it in detail what it was. He just renamed it. And I'll talk about it further tomorrow. He didn't even understand it, Venkat. And
And
last but not least,
what
go
about
ahead.
the Gaza, Trump Gaza,
That's what I was just about to say. We're gonna talk about that too.
which I have
If
that.
you have not seen that video, please
Yeah, I have it here.
directly at go and play it then. Play it.
Okay. I'm right here. Oh, hold on, let me play it right now. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I was shocked.
So late last night, President Trump posted what appeared to be an AI-generated video on his Truth Social account. It's basically a promotion for his plan for Gaza, which is to essentially turn the enclave into a lavish Gulf resort. Here's part of that video.
Donald is coming to set you free. Bring shining the light for all to see. No more tunnels, no more fear. Trump Gaza is finally here. Trump Gaza shining bright. Golden future, a brand new light. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza, number one.
Let's discuss with Kevin Barron. He's a national security.
Yeah, man.
Now Venkat, you supposed to be the producer extraordinaire.
Yeah.
Why didn't you screenshot the part where the bearded ladies was dancing on the beach? Like, do he? I'm trying to figure out. Do he know what he posts when he do it, or he just do it?
He just does it, man.
I'm telling you, I was getting ready to put my deposit down for Trump Gaza until I saw that part. I said if I'm gonna have the bearded ladies dancing around, I don't think I want to go. They ain't the kind of party I want to be a part of.
I can't believe that a sitting president would do something like that. In the middle of talking about a peace treaty. Oh my God. It's crazy.
Hey, you might as well go on cue it up, man. Hell in the handbasket. And with that, I say peace.
Welcome to hell, motherfucker!
This country is going to hell in a handbasket, and you know it. America today is a land of total chaos and confusion.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
All right. Thanks, MD. Ricardo, final sign off, sir.
Yeah, great show. I have to agree, it was a fantastic show that we've had for this episode. I'm also perturbed about a lot of things that we're seeing going on. The Joy Reid thing is very interesting because it's not only just her show. It seems that there's a plethora of whitewashing going on in a number of things that we're seeing. So I don't know what this means, but there was a coonery event that happened for Black History Month last week, and that's a whole other conversation to be had in the White House. I don't know what that was about, but it was very bizarre. Today was very much more bizarre, if that's even a word, of what we saw. If that's a precursor of what is to come, I'm a little bit perturbed. None of those cabinet members spoke except for when Marco Rubio spoke once, and he looked very uncomfortable. There's a lot of things that are very concerning to me. It looks like they're going after journalists, and this seems indicative of what we saw in the past in history. If y'all don't know your history, you're going to go back and look and see how this is almost similar. It's like a lot of number of things that are like paralleling that makes no sense. But MD, I do have to echo your sentiment. It does look like Europe is going to go alone. And not only Europe, my concern again is the closest neighbors that are with you are planning to go alone. What happens now when, America becomes, are we now going into a direction of imperialism again, where, the United States can now claim Ukraine, China is now going to claim Taiwan. It's heading down that. It's a very bizarre parallel that I'm not quite sure I'm understanding, but it's something that I think the whole world needs clarity on. This whole gold card thing seems bizarre as well, because it sounds like you only want white Russian oligarchs to come here, and if that's the case, it should be called out, because what about other people that are rich, who could then, this whole replacing a visa, and it's just strange. I think we need more clarity here, and this just sounds like whitewashing 101. So again, nothing surprised me, but it should surprise a lot of people. Looking forward to seeing what's going to be happening going forward. If based on what we're hearing, there's an implosion going on with the Republican Party and Elon Musk with Trump. I think I give it time, but I think those two are going to turn against each other. I bet my money on it, but we'll see what happens. But I might be able to tune in tomorrow if I'm not working and busy, MD. But all in all, great show. I just want people to be cued in on what is coming. There's a lot of bizarre things, but stay focused, y'all. There is a circus for a distraction, but there's cause for concern elsewhere. We need to be focusing on what is being taken away slowly in front of our eyes and not, being cued in and aware of it. So don't get caught up in the nonsenses that don't make sense, but cue in on certain things and stay focused, y'all.
All right, thanks, Ricardo. We're gonna be back again next week. I need to give myself the lame duck as well, because I start off the show by saying TFP Tuesday, and it's Wednesday, so lame duck on me too. We'll see everyone next week. There were some videos we didn't get into, but we'll get into it next week. As Ricardo and MD said, Joy Reid, that's a big, big, big issue. And she gets let go, of course, during Black History Month. So they're bold with it. And we're going to look at more things in politics, of course, as we always do. Peace to Tequila, Zay, Bones, peace to Kev, and everyone else that joined us here today. Mr. Straight Talk, of course, the ODB of the group, Mike is right. We'll see everybody next week, Tuesday, for the episode, I believe, I lost track of which episode. I forgot what episode number we're on. I think it was 60-something. Oh, and by the way, one more thing. So on episode 69, we'll have another Politics of Sex, volume 3. So we'll be doing a lot of cool things in the next coming few weeks. Until then, for Ricardo, for MD, I'm Venkat. Peace, everyone. Have a safe and good evening.
Peace on out.
She just said a terrible thing. You know what she said? Shout it out, because I don't want to. Okay, you're not allowed to say, and I never expect to hear that from you again. She said, I never expect to hear that from you again. She said he's. That's terrible. Terrible.